All right, so I think the stream thinking about things ready to go though. So hello everybody, making ZardX here, back at it again to give you another very exciting podcast episode. That being my ZardCast episode 67. And whole shoot, I felt like it's been a week given all of the announcements and the nominees stuff for the Game Awards, the GTA 6 trailer, including some stuff with the Mario theme park with a DK expansion. That's going to be the major highlight, just those three things and a lot of sub points underneath it, though. So, a lot of stuff to go through. So, we wanted to get the show on and going, though. But I ain't doing this alone. I got Steven here with me. How's it going, man?
What's up? It's going good.
Ooh, I don't know about you, man. I felt like it's been a long 2 weeks. I don't know. I don't know what.
Well,
Maybe it's because of
yeah,
the upcoming holidays and coming off of Black Friday and stuff and doing some last second Christmas scrambling and stuff. I think that's what's where my head's at the moment.
I've been watching Christmas movies and stuff. I watched all of the Home Alone movies, but in reverse order. So I started
In
with
reverse, wait, you watched like
yeah.
three, two, one in that order?
There's more than three. There's six of them.
Well, okay. I know there's
Did you
technically
not know
six, but
that?
I know the good ones is like one and two.
Okay, three. I liked three a lot. I went to three. I've never watched three, and I've watched one and two too many times. So obviously one and two I loved. Three was actually pretty good. Four is the worst one. And then five and six are just okay.
Dang, good
Well,
gracious.
Christmas time's good.
Yeah, I've been watching some new ones. Like one was called Candy Cane Lane. I've been watching some newer stuff. The classic stuff for me doesn't start until like there's like 12 days left, and then I
Yeah.
start going, going down the
Yeah.
list, watching all the classic stuff though. But
Last year I watched this movie in theaters. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Violent Night, and it's basically like a John Wick-esque action movie about Santa. Like
no, I
Santa
don't think I
land
heard of that one.
basically Santa lands inside of this like it's kind of like a mix of Home Alone. It's like Home Alone mixed with John Wick, where like it's Christmas time and it's this house that's about to be like part of a huge heist, and the house is gonna be robbed, and then Santa uh also like mistakenly gets hung up in the mix and starts killing all the robbers one by
Mm,
one.
okay, okay,
It's a fun movie, honestly.
yeah,
Like
and
obviously it's a little violent, so but like if you're fine with like a little fun action, I would definitely watch it.
I'll put a pin in it. I'll see what it is. Is it on like a streaming service or something?
That's a good question. Let's see. I swear it was.
Well, while you're looking that up, I'll let the
It's
people
on Prime
know.
Video. It's on
Oh,
Prime
Prime
Video.
Video. Okay. Yeah, we have that. Yeah, because for everybody listening to this is technically gonna be the last time I do a podcast this year when it's live here on YouTube where you're actually able to tune into it live. Because the next episode, due to the holidays and stuff, I'll pre-record it on my own end, and I'll drop that probably a handful of days right before Christmas, maybe around the 20th is probably where I'm gonna be shooting for. So it's not gonna be on an actual Sunday or whatnot. And then that will officially be the last podcast I drop until the start of the new year, though. So yeah, this is the last regular since one, and the next one is gonna be like the holiday special where we just talk because there's not gonna be hardly any news after we get through all of this stuff right now. Like there's probably gonna be barely anything. So we'll just reflect on games we played within the past year, good moments, stuff like that, holiday traditions, movies, all that fun little jazz and stuff. So it'll just be a pretty laid back show, but that's what you can look forward to in episode 68, though. But for now, let's go ahead and go through all of this news that we managed to get because we managed to get quite a bit of stuff within these past couple of weeks. While it's not that many topics, it's each one of them is fairly juicy, like maybe a little thicker than a turkey thigh that you might have had on Thanksgiving or maybe on Christmas Day whenever you have that feast, though. But we'll go ahead and jump up in it though. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into that culture segment. All right, so we got to talk about that DK expansion that's actually happening in Universal for Japan side of things. Obviously, Japan's spoiled like that. That's the motherland country.
Of course
It's
they
like
are.
So, of course, they get everything first, and then, later on, we'll get it here stateside. Like Hollywood, shoot, I still hadn't been to that park. Do you have any plans to go into that park, Steven, for
What
Universal,
part?
whether it be
The
California
Super
or the
Nintendo
Orlando
World
one?
there?
Yeah, it's there at the California location, and the Orlando one is still in the plans of being built. Because whenever it is built, I'll probably go to the Orlando side, and that's probably going to build the Super Mario and Donkey Kong thing all in one go.
So, I'm probably gonna eventually maybe go on a vacation closer out west. So maybe I could try out the California one.
Dang, you'll be going across the country. You doing that versus just heading south to Florida.
Well, yeah, but like Florida, from what all accounts, from what I've heard, sucks.
It's not that
So,
bad. I mean, the Orlando area is nice. I've been to Disney World and Universal Studios like, gosh, dang, like 4 or 5 times or something like that.
yeah,
It's
but
quite a
I
bit
feel
though, but it's a good area down there.
yeah, California could be fun. That's what I'm thinking at least.
I don't think I've been to the Universal location in California, but I've been to Disneyland over there. It's either one or no, I think 2 times. Like one when I was like really young, I was like age of 3 or something, and then one whenever I was like junior high, high school, around that age.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really hoping. Well, obviously, we'll get some like high quality, like new high quality renders of like Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong. I hope it's not just that though. If you're doing a whole damn sec expansion of your theme park, it better be actually about Donkey Kong Country.
No, it is dubbed Donkey Kong Country. And it's
Yeah, it
weird because
better
I think in
be.
Japan,
Yeah,
they called it something else. It's like Super or it was weird with the naming though, but state-wise, it was always called Donkey Kong Country, and that's the whole theming. So, like,
I'm pretty sure
if
it
you
was just Super Donkey Kong.
yeah, Super Donkey Kong, there we go. Yeah, because if you look at the theming of the park, like, it's weird because it's like they don't like messing with the Kremlings anymore, even though Donkey Kong Countries 1 through 3 had a heavy emphasis. So you ain't seeing those creatures, but you see, like, all the tiki creatures from, like, Donkey Kong Country Returns
Wait, really?
from the
There,
Wii.
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
They're in
it's
there.
in, like, some of the promotional material, like, when you saw that little video where it's kinda showing you, like, oh, whatever they call those videos, like, it's just like a pre-rendered something, like, an idea of what the park would look like,
I guess it
and they
makes
had, like,
sense they're
tiki
not
themes.
basing it off of Tropical Freeze because it's too good for Nintendo.
I that is what you never know because there could be, like, an inside area where it's like imagine if there's, like, a cool off station because you typically have those in parks. So I wouldn't put it past them in a cool down, area where they have, like, a tropical freeze section, but it's, like, indoor. You wouldn't see it at surface
Yeah,
value looking
but
outside. That's what I
if
would
the
think.
track, no, not the track, if the music during like the attractions or just in the lobby is like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze music though, that is gonna be great.
Hey, I'm
That
good with
soundtrack is
shoot. I mean,
phenomenal.
I wish they can just pull music from any of the games from 1 through 3 or Returns and Tropical Freeze, 'cause the music across the board is really good, especially in Tropical Freeze, though. But I'm just saying, I'm like, you know what? If that minecart ride, they gotta put some of that music at least before you take off. Like, there's gotta be something, or at least in the
Yeah.
lines when you walk around. I just wanna hear that DK music. I was like, "Ooh, ooh."
I really like the Rocket Barrel theme in both Returns and Tropical Freeze. They're really good.
No, that's extremely that's one of my favorite ones right there, like, dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun, 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 dun.
it's really good. It's and in Tropical Freeze they get 4 different remixes depending on the level. It's great.
Yeah. So I'm like,
Super.
I don't know how long it will probably would take us to get this part, especially considering how, I guess, what the Hollywood side of things, it's already finished, and they had to reconstruct a whole 'nother area, so maybe California is gonna take a few more years, and I feel like it's been a while since I heard an update on the Orlando location.
I'm looking at the video that they posted again. You have in the trailer you can see Funky's flying by, which I think is specifically from DKC Tropical Freeze
Flying I
because he
feel
runs
like
the
it.
shop
I
in
feel
that
like
game.
it. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He runs a shop. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's specifically in Tropical Freeze. Um, it's cool though. that yeah, obviously like the house, Donkey Kong's house and all of that. It looks very similar to what you'd see in like the Mario Kart map of DK Temple.
And looking at this part, I it's gonna bother the heck out of me though. But we know Donkey Kong, his favorite thing is, bananas and stuff like that. So I can only imagine like the Toad Cafe for Mario, he had some dishes, centered around some mushroom related stuff. That wouldn't bother me at all. I actually really like mushrooms. But if I were to go to the DK side of things, you're gonna have like stands outside that's gonna have like banana flavored either smoothies or shakes or sundaes and stuff like that. And I'm like, bananas are the one fruit I do not like to eat. Period. I will almost eat any other fruit, especially if it's in a smoothie of some kind. Bananas is like, no, you put that mess anywhere near me, and I just don't eat it whatsoever. So that's gonna bother me in terms of food wise. But hopefully they got some other cool stuff there. I just thought about the food side of things. So that's almost equally as important when you go into a theme park and stuff.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of banana stuff. So if you don't like bananas, you're screwed.
Ooh. But I imagine we'll probably get a good water ride. We'll get the mine cart ride thing with the barrel busting and stuff. I imagine you're gonna see all the Kongs all over the place. I like how they're giving what two extra wristbands. So you're having like one that's like a DK and one that's like a Diddy, along with your traditional, Mario armbands that you already have. So yeah, I think it should be really cool. And I think it'll just
Yep.
kind of flesh out the rest of the Nintendo area with Nintendo World and stuff.
All right. Well, now here's the more important thing, Zard. New Donkey Kong game when?
Don't
Motherfuckers, I want a new
I mean,
Donkey Kong
hey, they
game.
gave
I just
they
want
gave you the
one.
new Donkey
I
Kong
got.
game.
I
It's
don't care
Mario
about
versus
Mario versus
Donkey
Donkey
Kong.
Kong. I
I
want
know,
I
I
want
know,
a
I know.
real Donkey
That
Kong
bothered the
game.
heck out of me.
Oh, okay.
I'm still picking
I
that game
like
up because we hadn't had anything DK related in a hot minute. I'm still getting that because I never played the original Mario versus Donkey Kong.
it's
But
great. It's not the problem. The problem is just that we need a real one
we're
as
getting that with the
well.
Switch 2. Gosh dang it, in the first year of that console dropping. If we don't, I don't know what
I
the
don't
heck they've been
like
working on.
I don't know what they'll do with it. I don't know if it'll be like a actual 3D one, which could be good, could be not. I'd love a new 2D Donkey Kong game, but especially after what they did with Mario Wonder, taking heavy inspiration from Tropical Freeze, maybe it would be a little redundant.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they'll time it up with one of the parks open here, West Side, because I feel like Donkey Kong as an IP, it's better known for us over here in the West versus people actually in Japan. So who knows? Maybe they'll time that mess right with the park. I don't know.
I'm pretty
But
sure Donkey Kong isn't really taken seriously as his own franchise. He's more just a side character in the Mario universe nowadays,
kind
and
of, yeah.
Nintendo likes to keep it that way. He's like one of the only it sucks, in the early 2000s he was practically a
No, he was
spin-off
big. He
character.
was big within the arcade scene, and then when you had the whole Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3 with that Super FX chip within the Super Nintendo, like that gave that system a little more life right before the Nintendo 64 and stuff. So yeah, no, there was a time between that and was it that cartoon show? Like Donkey Kong was big everywhere you
Well,
go,
okay, well the
and you heard
cartoon
so
show
many
wasn't
sayings and
good.
stuff. It wasn't good, but I mean, people knew it. I'll say
Yeah.
that, but yeah. Whew. So yeah, so I think in terms of expansions with the Nintendo part or Nintendo World, I think we're only gonna have the Mario and the DK side. If they were to mess with another IP, and that'll be way later in the future, maybe you'll get something Legend of Zelda theme. But that would be a hot long minute until we see anything added like that. 'Cause I feel like that would be another pretty big investment.
Yeah.
But yeah, outside of that, that's all I have on the theme parks. Whatever I do manage to make a trip over there, whether it's me rolling solo with my family or maybe with my one of my good friends or something like that, then I'll do coverage on it. I don't know. Maybe I'll time it out right where I can get the Mario experience with the DK all in one. But seems like some good stuff is coming. Whew. And on that note, that's gonna pretty much do it in terms of our pop culture segment. So we'll go ahead and transition over into what's in the gaming news. All right, Steven. So we talked about this on the last episode with them teasing the trailer early in what was it, the first week of December and stuff. We finally got the trailer. It was about, oh, was it like a minute and a half long or something like that, though? And I got some thoughts, but I'll let you say what you got to say first.
I really like how it leaked about an hour beforehand, and Rockstar was like, "Okay, this is gonna be the peak hype right here. This is where we release. This is where we just fucking shadow drop the trailer," and they did.
Oh yeah, because it did. I don't know
It was supposed to
how.
release the next day.
Oh,
I don't
yeah, it was
know.
supposed to release that next day or some point early in the morning, around 10ish or so. But somebody got their hands on the trailer and somehow dropped it out on Twitter early, and everybody was like, "Man, those are two companies you don't mess with in terms of leaks, Nintendo and Rockstar, because they'll
You
come and
say
get you with
that,
the ninjas and all of that
yeah,
stuff."
yeah. Nintendo, it really depends on the release. With
Yeah,
like for example, Tears of the Kingdom, like that game was getting leaked all over the place, and not they Nintendo couldn't really do anything to stop it. You
well,
know,
then again, that's
they're
the
very
traditional week or
inconsistent.
2 weeks out in advance. If it was a whole month or more, then no, they would have jumped
I'm
at
pretty
whoever
sure.
that would have
Oh,
been.
okay, tell me if this makes sense. I'm pretty sure Nintendo values like their new announcements being leaked a lot more than they value like the games being leaked.
Oh, like the first word announcement
Yeah,
versus
because
the
like
actual
they
game
want
itself.
yeah like they want people to watch the directs. Why would anyone watch a direct if everything's already leaked?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like what that one dude that almost leaked everything. We'll see.
Pyoro, yes,
Yeah, we'll
and
see
he
what
did.
happens when the
He
February month
lived.
comes. He
He's still
he's alive, but
yeah
we don't know
he's
if
still
Nintendo said
posting
some stuff
stuff.
to him. We don't know. Not until that next direct comes around. We'll see.
I'm pretty sure that even no matter what, with everything he leaked, he would have still been taken care of, as Nintendo would put it.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah, GTA 6 trailer just being released like that, Rockstar going oopsies was awesome.
yeah, and I was looking at that trailer and I was like, man, I can't believe they had to release it early because someone got their hands out on it though. Whoever did, I saw that tweet originally because Wario64 tweeted it, and I guess it didn't take too long, and then that account just got like suspended, like it got took down, shot down. I was like, ooh, gosh dang. And they were like, well, since the trailer leaked early, here's the real trailer, so got to see it early and stuff. So, you know, unfortunate, but it is what it is, though. But when I was looking at that trailer, definitely an upgrade over GTA 5. Well, yes, I didn't actually go through and play GTA 5. I know what it looks like and stuff. And I can tell, obviously, like what people been waiting on this game for almost a decade. It's kind of crazy how GTA 5 and the Mario Kart community are almost in the same boat. It's been almost decade for this one for sure, and I think next year is technically a decade for
Well,
Mario Kart 8, where we don't have
yeah,
the
but
newest
like
entry into the series though, but fans
yeah,
been
but
waiting on this one.
at least we know for a fact, like Mario Kart 9 will come eventually. Like GTA 6, they really never like they obviously people wanted it, but they had Grand Theft Auto Online. They could have just kept updating that.
Yeah, but I think at some point, you just gotta, break the
Yeah,
break the
like
floor
people
down
are
because I think I heard from some people with the heist and stuff you do with the online and stuff. If you go into it with modern day, like a modern day mindset, it is a little bit weird to kind of get around unless you've just been consistently playing it. So, I mean,
yeah.
imagine just starting over fresh and just doing a grand reboot for everybody, and everybody will probably be jumping in at that point. But
I guess the difference is that Grand Theft Auto 5, like the single player is what people like in those games a lot of the time,
mhm.
or just the world. And 10 years exploring the same world gets a little boring. You
Which I
need
think that's
something
where a
new
lot of
once in a
people
while.
flip to the online because at least you can have some different things changing and doing with that within
Well,
your
yeah,
community that you're playing with.
Mario Kart at least is, a new, it's a multiplayer game that you can hop on and hop off whenever you want. It's not like a game that, it's not a game that's like the same every time you play it, I guess.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Now
But yeah,
it's
GTA 6 is definitely one of those big, one of those games, the games that everyone freaks out about.
Yeah, and I think it actually went to break some records too, because I think on YouTube side of things, there was a record for like how many views a single video has managed to get within the span of 24 hours. And GTA 6 managed to bust that record, if I remember right. And then also for like the overall views, like if you looked at the first reveal trailer for GTA 5 and saw how many views that trailer has gotten, and looked at this first trailer for GTA 6, it actually already managed to surpass the amount of views than the original GTA 5
It got over
reveal
80
trailer.
million. Yeah, it got over 80 million views in one day, Zard.
Yeah, which is yeah, that's just freaking insane when you just sit down and think about that.
This is going to be one of the biggest games of all time. Like that is just a fact. It doesn't matter how good it is. It doesn't matter all of this. It will be one of the biggest games ever.
And it's funny because Rockstar, it takes them an eon to make these games, and they stick with them for an eon now. So we know
Yeah.
that this game is coming. Oh, whoops, hold on here, but keep on talking for a moment.
Uh, yeah, I personally think this will be the jump that everyone's been waiting for next generation. There are a lot of people that still holding out on getting a PC or getting this and getting that. Um, yeah, this is the game that is gonna get people to buy one of those next gen consoles. It's GTA 6. So this will finally be that jump the next gen that I've been waiting for because every single game nowadays releases on PS4 and PS5, and it really wasn't like this for any other console
Mhm.
generation. It really feels like we haven't experienced what the full power of next gen could look like. Because there have been some games that like looked really nice or had these really nice effects and sometimes it feels like those games have been brought down by also having to be on PS4 or whatever.
Yeah, and I will say, or I didn't catch everything that you managed to say right there though, but I imagine you probably said something with the consoles and which system they're dropping on, which we know
Well,
is
yeah,
the PS5 and the Series X. And I was gonna say, at least with this one, Rockstar, with them taking so long to make these games, they're gonna drop it originally for PS5 and Series X, right? And then it might be a whole year later, they're gonna drop it on PC. And it might be another year later, depending on the specs of the Switch too. We'll see if they wanted to do
cloud
something like
version.
that. Even if it's something like that, yeah.
It will
So
not be on the Switch too. Sorry, you gotta remember this. You know, as much as people hype up the Switch 2, the Switch 2 is just gonna be slightly more powerful. You
we'll
know it's
we'll,
true.
we'll see, we'll
You know
see,
it's
we'll
an
see, we'll
Nintendo.
see. They
It's
might work
never
some weird
Nintendo's
magic.
never cared about third
They
party
might work.
games.
Well, hold on. For Carl, man, he's a businessman. We hadn't seen this dude drop a console yet. I keep trying to remind people about this. This man's all about the money. He might be a little different from our boy Wada though, but we'll
Well,
see.
you say that, but like since he's all about the money, then that means he probably cares a little bit less about the consumer. And what does the consumer want? Games that function. This remember, Iwata is the king of optimization. He's the one that like got them to fit the entirety of Kanto on the gold and silver cartridge.
Mhm. I don't know, man. I'm just saying this man's a businessman. He might be taking some notes out of PlayStation and Xbox books. Not in, like all the way
Yeah,
full
but like
blown graphics or stuff, but I think they might be
yeah,
able to pull some tricks where it's going to be on a very compatible, or why did I say compatible? On a very the competition between the two, they're gonna find a way to compete, but on their own terms. I feel like they're working something up, and
I
the weird thing, and this is a whole nother weird tangent aside from GTA 6 though, but the fact that literally it's been the longest period of time right before we might be able to have this console revealed and drop. Because if you look at every past console transition from like Wii to Wii U or GameCube to Wii, they've been told the investors way out in advance. It was like, hey, maybe a year or two advance, a certain system is already in development, or they'll say the NX. Like they'll actually will give it a name and they will recognize it. But right now, it's just really vague. Like they rarely want to say anything about it. So I don't
well,
know.
it's
It's just kind of
because
food for thought.
It's because they don't have to. You know how many people will still buy a Switch and a Switch OLED to this day, and then they'll still go out and buy the Switch 2 at launch?
Yeah, and I'm not talking about they don't have to confirm like the actual name, but they could be like with the Wii U and say the Project NX or something like that. Same thing how we knew about the Xbox and the PlayStation. Felt like we knew about those details like
Yeah.
years upon years, but it didn't stop PlayStation 4 from selling or
But
nothing
then,
like that.
yeah, but
But
then
you
even
just don't reveal
Nintendo,
like the actual system. You show it in front of consumers, and then that's when your sales take a nose dip. But yeah.
yeah, like you don't remember like Nintendo's absolutely like barren 2016, where all you had was updates for games and a couple first parties that sucked. 2016 for Nintendo was literally just okay, we need a year and then the Switch will be ready.
Mhm.
Don't like just literally it was just a dead year so they could prepare for the Switch launch. And 2017 obviously was one of their best years like in a while, but like I it's good to know that the last year of the Switch won't be like this because I am 100% confident next year will be Switch 2. Next holiday, the Switch 2 will be out.
Mhm.
It will launch with Metroid Prime 4. Come on.
That's what I call.
What what
I'm fingers
what
crossing it. It
better
should
way?
be, but yeah.
Cuz let's be they already announced it for Switch. It would not make sense to release a Switch game like, once the Switch 2 is already out. It would make sense to do what they did with Breath of the Wild, tease a very high profile, highly awaited game, and then release that with the new console and the old console. People that can't find the Switch 2 still get to play the game they've been waiting for, and people with the Switch 2 get to try out a new enhanced game on it.
Mhm. Yeah, and
And
I
let's
will
just say
say
that this is their tech demo as well. Let's just say that this is their swan song for like the regular Switch. Look how nice Metroid Prime Remastered looked. That's definitely a tech demo for Prime 4.
yeah. And at least just looking back on the topic at hand with GTA 6, I would say at least with the way how this story is playing out between like this Bonnie and Clyde situation between the female protagonist and what will probably be the male protagonist. Like I kind
Yeah,
of
it
like the
is.
diversity that they're doing between the two of them though. I think our female lead, she looks pretty fine to me. Pretty fine. I can see myself playing the whole game as her, but that probably won't be the case. We'll probably be switching back and forth between the two of them though. But I had to go ahead and mention this though. You know that one clip up in the trailer, right, Steven? Like that one clip of that woman like standing up on the beach, like she just flips her hair around and turns around.
With
I
like
was
with
just
like the wait, with like the American flag on her bra or
no,
something.
no, not no. The one where she flips her hair around and she's like standing at like on a pool party or something like that on the roof or something like that.
Oh
That
yeah,
scene.
is that yeah,
That's the
what about that
most
one?
watched clip part of the the whole trailer right there was that one right there. And these people
Isn't that the female main character?
no, it's not the female main character. At least I don't think. Looking at that, it doesn't scream that to me. Like she looks a bit different in that one than because I mean, even if you look at our female protagonist, see how she has like those moles on her face? Like that wasn't on that woman that was in that one little snippet right there.
Alright.
But yeah, I
Yeah,
just found it
I
funny right there that that was the most watched part, and then people were like, "Wait, this game's gonna have jiggle physics."
yeah,
I
I'll
was
be
like,
honest
"Y'all
with
need
you.
to calm down."
I don't yeah, I don't play a lot of GTA, but this trailer did look very nice. This is going to be one of the nicest looking games ever.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it's kind of cool how they're actually going back and revisiting Vice City, which I think, oh, I don't even know how long it's been since that
Since
game.
Grand Theft Auto Vice City on my like
No, I mean like how
PS2.
many? Yeah, since PS2. I don't know how many years that's been though, but it looks really cool if you just do like some rough comparisons between the two of them. Oh, and that was the other thing I wanted to mention or like one of the last major things about this trailer is the trailer itself, it's funny because you saw the most randomest stuff on that trailer, like that woman on the top of the car, like slapping her butt up against the top of the car. You know, somebody looking like the Joker that was arrested with his painted face and stuff. Like a woman coming out with some what is it, like a hammer in one hand and some kind of tool in the other one, pulling a gator out of the pool and stuff. I was like, this is the most randomest stuff that's based out of Florida. And then I looked on Twitter. This is based on real events that happened in Florida. Every single one of
Good,
those scenarios. I was like,
good.
oh shoot.
Makes it a lot more unique.
I was like, I know Florida is crazy though, but I didn't think it was that wild. Like I thought that some of that stuff that seemed out there. I just didn't think all of that was based upon real events. Oh shoot, but yeah, it was just really funny seeing that trailer play out though. And then of course, at the very end they say yes, this game's coming out in 2025. I didn't expect for it to come out in 2024. That's what my gut was always telling me. So yeah, people waited a decade to have to wait almost about what's going to be a year and so many months more. So yeah, they still got a ways to wait, but it's not too terrible. But at least it's cooking. We got to look at it outside of those. Oh gosh, remember those first looks at GTA 6 when that mess leaked? Oh gosh. But yeah, so
I don't
that's.
really remember. No, I didn't really see the leaks.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, okay. Well, I'll leave that up to other people if they want to look that mess up though. But between that and then obviously this first trailer, we have a pretty good idea of what this game's gonna kind of look like though. But I'm really curious to see more about it. I remember playing play one of the GTA games back in the day when one of my cousins had it on. It might have been on the PS2 or PS3 or something like that. But since then, I really hadn't ever really played one. So GTA 6 might be technically my first jumping in point. So we'll see about that though. But I'm looking forward to this game. I'm looking forward to it nonetheless. But you got anything else about this, Steven?
GTA 6 is gonna be good.
All righty. Now, well, all of that out the way, we're going to hit our major topic of the night. Yes, we're talking about the Game Awards. Now, there's a lot of things we got to
Yeah.
talk about in terms of this, how the show was overall, the who were the nominees and the winners of, each one leading up to Game of the Year, along with the announcement. So, what I'm thinking, Stephen, we'll talk about we'll do what Jeff Keighley didn't do within his show though, but we'll actually talk about the awards themselves, who actually won them all. Then we'll talk about the announcements, and then we'll just give our overall takes on what we thought about the show as a whole. Though I'm gonna run this mess a little better than Jeff Keighley because some of this stuff didn't rub me the right way when certain people were getting presented certain things, and they were like,
Yeah.
"Right, wrap it up, move on to the next thing." I don't know. That just rubbed me off the wrong way.
But then they give, we'll talk about it. But they give Kojima like 6 minutes to talk
It
about
was like
nothing.
10 minutes. It was like 10 minutes, man. I know
Yeah.
it
So.
was dumb. Oh goodness. All right,
Yeah.
let me see if I can pull up all of this stuff right quick. All right. All right. So we'll start with the weird one first and work our way on up. So best esports event that went to yeah, we'll work our way up to game of the year. That was 2023 League of Legends. I'm like, all right. Best esports coach Christine
Literally,
Potter.
yeah.
Uh,
Don't even mention the esports ones. Who
I'm
cares?
skipping, yeah. Well, hold on. I got to mention this. Best esport athlete, Lee Faker saying Heelek. The fact he has Faker up in his name, I like that. I have to give him a little shout out on
Faker.
that. Let me see here. Best esports game was Valorant. Oh, okay. I gotta mention about this one. Content creator of the year. This is the weird one. I didn't know any of these people that were nominated. Do you know any of these people, Steven?
I knew Cypher PK only because he's a Fortnite streamer,
Of
and
course.
he has a skin in Fortnite.
Dang. Well, okay, I didn't know any of these ones, but it's funny how the VTuber won something, and they actually had her an actual clip that she submitted in there because with her being a VTuber, it's not like she could be actually invited up on the stage
Well,
or at
she
least like that.
could,
So
but people
she
would
could,
care
but
a
then they'll
lot less
blow.
about her. Yeah,
Yeah,
like she'd get like how many less Twitch Prime subs?
yeah,
People like the anime version. They don't like seeing real people.
that is true. Moving on up, most anticipated game. I thought it was going to be a pretty easy one, but it was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so that
That
was
is,
cool.
yeah, that's the most. Come on, like GTA 6 obviously wasn't there because it didn't get a performer reveal.
Yeah,
Or,
and then best adaptation. Not the Mario movie was going to win this one, but lo and
nah,
behold, it was The Last of Us. I'm like, come on, y'all, come on.
Jeff Keighley loves The Last of Us, but also What were the other nominations
The
again?
other one was Twisted Metal, The Gran Turismo, and Castlevania Nocturne.
From what I've heard, maybe either Gran Turismo or Mario movie probably would have been the winners if you
Yeah,
didn't
I
love
still need
Last
to
of Us
sit
so much.
down and watch the Gran Turismo movie. I don't think it's on
My dad,
streaming yet.
my dad watched it and he said he liked it, but who
Oh, okay.
knows?
Hmm.
Genuinely, who knows? He has weird taste.
All right, let's see here. What's next? All right, so best multiplayer game. This one shocked me. I thought this was one that Super Mario Bros. Wonder was going to get, or maybe second place was going to be Street Fighter 6. It obviously wasn't going to be Diablo 4 or Party Animals, but it went to Baldur's Gate 3. And I'm like, wait, what? I know
Wait,
there's a
wait,
single
why?
player.
It could have gone to Diablo.
I mean, it could have, but my gut was saying it probably was going to win it. That's what I meant. But I didn't think it was going to go to Baldur's Gate 3 because I know there's technically a co-op mode that you can basically do, and then there's obviously the single player one. I thought more people would have played the single player versus, playing it with somebody else. Because when you make all those decisions and all of that, and it affects your games drastically. I just didn't think it was going to be the one to win. So that took me by surprise.
Yeah,
Let's see.
Baldur's Gate 3 I've heard a lot about.
And it picked up a good amount of awards throughout this whole thing, as we'll see here. Best sport slash racing. I Okay, Forza Motorsport was the winner. That made sense. I feel like anytime that game comes out, I think it's kind of a given.
I
But
just don't think there was any good racing games this
it
year,
it
so
really wasn't, because when I look at it, it was like what Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, The
Hot
Crew,
Wheels is
Motorfest,
good. The Hot
F1
Wheels game is
23, and EA Sports SC 24. What the
I
freak?
think was
Okay, yeah,
Lego 2K Drive there or no? Because that's the
no,
only other racing
uh,
game I know that came out. Maybe that was
no, it
last year.
wasn't.
I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't nominated. All right, I got some stuff to say about this next one. So, the best sim slash strategy game. I honestly had no idea what was going to possibly win this one, but the options was Advanced Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp, City Skyline 2, Company of Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, and Pikmin 4. Gameplay alone, I was okay with Fire Emblem Engage winning because it's at the end of the day, it's about the gameplay. But when
Yeah,
I
it's for
looked at it
best
as the
strategy.
big picture, I didn't like the story and I didn't like the art style. Like, oh shoot, I would have been okay if Fire Emblem did not win this one. It didn't. So in some ways, I kind of feel mixed. I don't feel too bad. But more
Yeah, but
surprisingly, Pikmin 4 won it. And that
but
really caught me by
well,
surprise.
guess what? Pikmin winning is a huge W because that franchise getting some well-needed recognition as a Game Award winner, right there. And I don't even care. Like obviously, like maybe one of the other games is better than Pikmin 4, but Pikmin in general, I love Pikmin. I want to see more than one game per year. Oh, per
Not
10
one,
years.
you mean one per console?
Yeah, one per console. Yeah, you want to talk about the wait for GTA 6 and all that stuff? Pikmin 3, Pikmin 4 is literally 10 years. A little bit
Yeah,
less than 10 years. Like that's insane, especially because that's not like that crazy of a game. Those are short games for the most part.
yeah, and
And
it's
Pikmin
one of
2
those
to
few
Pikmin 3 was
games,
even worse.
and it's one of the few games I actually managed to 100%. Like, I 100% in Pikmin 4, but gosh dang, I did not 100%, 100% no Fire Emblem Engage. Shoot, I bought the DLC for that game. I still had not finished the
Well,
DLC for it. So I'm
Because
like, that says something.
Pikmin 4 actively encourages it. Like it keeps track of everything. It's not even that hard to do.
Yeah, so I'll tip my hat off to Pikmin 4. That's a pretty good dub right
Yeah.
there. Now, if we look at best family game, this one was a pretty easy one right here. Super Mario Bros. Wonder managed to win that game or win that
Sonic
category.
Superstars could have won it,
It could
but
have.
that game's a little mediocre, so
Yeah. So that's what I was figuring on that one. Best fighting game. That went to Street Fighter 6. Tekken 8 would have released this year as well. That would have been really interesting to see a Mortal Kombat, a Street Fighter 6, and a Tekken 8 all dropping in the same year. But it went to Street Fighter 6, a really good, phenomenal game. I need to put a little bit more time up in that game, but no, for everything I've seen and heard and played myself, really good game. Let's see here. Best RPG. Huh. After looking at these categories now, I'm a little upset Baldur's Gate 3 managed to win this one. because in comparison to like something like a Final Fantasy 16 or Sea of Stars, like I would have had put my vote. I think I put my vote to Final Fantasy 16 because I actually managed to finally start playing that game
Well,
shortly after Black Friday. Because I usually always play a Final Fantasy game every December. Like the last year, it was what was it? I was playing Final Fantasy 7 Crisis Core, and the year before that, I was playing Final Fantasy 7, um, Final Fantasy 7 remake with the extra DLC stuff. So I don't know. I always
it
somehow
just
manage to find time playing a Final
happens.
Fantasy game in the month of December, though. But man, I hate how Baldur's Gate 3 won this category. What you got to say?
Well, have you played Baldur's Gate 3?
No, man, but I just
So,
looked at all the footage for it just to see if I would be remotely interested in it, and it just there's nothing on the page to scream at me, cry, cry this, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it's
well,
kind of
yeah,
like the way how the gameplay is handled. I'm like, I'm not a big fan of that. You know, there's certain games you look at and you can just tell that's just not your cup of tea, and that's what Baldur's Gate 3 is to me.
yeah,
I
I
just can't.
respect it, but I don't know if I'll play it. I guess the whole thing is, Game Awards at the end of the day, they hardly matter besides marketing purposes, and sometimes the RPGs do get a win, like last year Xenoblade 3 getting Game of the Year nomination.
At least it got a nomination because that
Well,
whole shoot that series got
getting
burned
yeah,
oh so many
but
times.
getting a nomination is probably one of the highest honors that your game could get. And it's not that common. For example, in 2018, Celeste was on there, and that was crazy. An indie game being nominated for Game of the Year, especially a pixel art indie game.
Yeah.
But
So
for this at least, for best RPG, a category that's pretty broad. So many things count as an RPG nowadays. Like Final Fantasy 16 is a action RPG more than a turn-based RPG. But Baldur's Gate 3, obviously it won Game of the Year and it is an RPG, so it would only make sense that it won Best RPG. I'd assume.
yeah. Yeah, that's what we would all think and assume and stuff.
Like common sense, but the thing is that Game Awards, it's not like one person, it's the collective of a bunch of game critics.
Game critics and some I don't even feel like it's really that qualified
It's
to
not, but
actually
guess
vote.
what? Game
I'll get
Awards
to it when we
are
talk
a
about that
fun
one
time
category,
either
but
way.
yeah.
It's more just fun to see your favorite games get recognition more than them actually deserving the awards.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. Next up was back. Yeah, best action slash adventure that went to Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. So really cool right there. It did beat out Resident Evil 4, Spider-Man 2, Alan Wake 2, and Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So
Yeah,
good.
for all that hype about Tears of the Kingdom being voted as most anticipated game like twice, you really didn't
Oh
see
yeah,
many
it
people
did get
caring
that
about.
voted twice. Within the
Yeah,
past,
but
gosh dang.
even you must admit Tears of the Kingdom really was not talked about after that first month at all.
No, yeah, it definitely died off, and I feel like things with Baldur's Gate 3 got a little more recency bias. But yeah, that is true.
But at the
Let's
same time, I feel like a lot more people haven't just I've heard a lot less positivity for Tears of the Kingdom recently. I kind of agree with it. I feel like Tears of the Kingdom just doesn't feel like a sequel. It does at the end of the day feel like a DLC expansion, especially when half of the bonuses you can find in the depths are just DLC from Breath of the Wild. Like it
yeah.
feels like it should have been what the DLC expansion pass for Breath of the Wild was.
Yeah, and then and I'm looking at this stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, you kind of got a point. At least for me with Tears of the Kingdom, I was thinking, you know what, I would, I would say I still feel like it is a sequel. I still thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's still in my top two games of the year for me personally, though. But looking at the best action game. The winner on that one was Armored Core 6. This is where things get a little weird when you have a best action game, best RPG, and a best action slash adventure. Like that's where the lines kind of get tricked up a little bit. I'm like,
It's just Zard. It's literally just so they can give more games awards. It doesn't matter.
yeah, yeah, that is true. That's just one little thing I wanted to point out. It's a little weird. Best VR/AR that went to Resident Evil Village VR mode. So beat out Horizon Call of the Mountain and Gran Turismo
That
7.
s-
Probably the only
s-
other ones that could have compete.
certainly a W.
Let's see here. Okay, I gotta talk about this one. So, best mobile game. I'm not that passionate about mobile games most of the time because I ain't a mobile game person though. But one of these mobile games you can play on PC, and that's the way I've been playing it. So, the nominees was like Monster Hunter. Now, shoot, I forgot there was a Monster Hunter one like that. Terra Nil, never heard of it. Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Gosh dang, like
Fucking
were there not
Hello
that
Kitty
many games
Island
that came
Adventure.
out that year? And then Final
Hello
Fantasy.
Kitty Island Adventure is so stupid.
It is. And then you have Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, which that one's cool, and it's actually playable on Steam now, so you have another option of playing it. However, the winner was Honkai Star Rail, baby. I'm not much of a mobile fan or whatnot though, but I play that game on PC primarily. I'll maybe log in on my phone just to get the login bonuses, but when I actually play, I play it on PC. Phenomenal game. I never thought I would get hooked up in that game as much as I did. I actually threw currency up in the game. So I'm glad to see this game won because the fact they did win, they managed to give us a free tenfold summon thing. So I was like, oh, thank goodness. And I managed to get another character I never owned before. So, congrats to y'all, Honkai, Star Rail and stuff, Hoyoverse, the makers of it, Genshin and all that other stuff though. So nice little shout out right there. Best debut indie game. I didn't know any of these things. Did you
Fucking.
know any of these?
Do you not know
Oh,
what
except
Pizza
for Pizza.
Tower
I'm
is?
sorry, except for Pizza Tower. Did you know any of the other ones?
What are they again? I just need to know.
Dredge, Vimba, Viewfinder, and Cocoon.
So I've heard of Viewfinder, but only because, it's the game where you take pictures and then that stuff appears in reality. It seemed like a neat concept, but I've seen gameplay of it, and the dialogue and writing in that game is insufferable.
Hmm.
It's like that, Marvel, did I just do that? Oh my god, type of dialogue.
Dang. But yeah, the winner on this one was Cocoon. I was thinking it maybe would have been Pizza Tower, but I was like, I just really didn't know what was going to win that category.
I kind of expected it to be Pizza Tower after Jeff Keighley himself, at the beginning of the show, noted how the developers of Pizza Tower were there. He
Hmm.
specifically called out Pizza Tower by name, if you remember.
Man, that was such a long show, man. I did not remember that.
But yeah, but like, I don't know, Pizza Tower is the one I've played the most, and it is a incredible game. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, it kind of, I don't know. I didn't hear nothing about Cocoon. Like, no, like, obviously, like, it's probably a good game and all that, but like, come on.
Let's see here. So, best independent game. This is where a little bit of controversy started to boil up, though. But you had Dredge,
Hell yeah.
Cocoon, Viewfinder, Sea of Stars, and Dave the Diver. Before I talk about the winner, Dave the Diver was the one where people were kind of mixed about because technically it's not an actual indie game. While it looks
It's
like
not.
it
Yeah, it.
screams that it's an indie game, but I guess because it's backed up and supported by a lot more money than any of these other ones, and that had a lot of people spiraling.
Oh yeah, because it's kind of insulting. It's kind of insulting that like an indie game is just defined by being a pixel art game.
Which is kinda upsetting because literally, well, you could say Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, they could come out with a game and say, "You know what? We just wanna make an old-fashioned pixel art game, low budget." They could say 20 bucks on their digital shop, and you're telling me because it's a pixel art game, literally, we're gonna dub it as a quote unquote indie game. Like, imagine if Nintendo were the ones that actually created Cadence of Hyrule and not the actual indie developers that actually made that game. Imagine that was actually made by
It would
Nintendo,
be an
and you're
insult.
gonna call that an indie game? I
It would
don't know.
be an insult to like everyone. Like, and it already is an insult. Already say it is like a huge insult to be, standing where he stood, in a way, is a term for it, I guess.
Yeah,
Like,
but
I don't know, because the company that made it is like one of the biggest big game companies in Korea. It's not like a small company.
and I wanna say they got back their funded by, like, $1,000,000 ish or something crazy like that, which is
It
something
is
that any of
by
these other ones wish they woulda had a backing like
p-
that.
yeah, people can argue it all they want, but by definition, it is not an indie game. It is not.
And the funny thing about this with Jeff Keighley is he had to make a statement on this, and he's like, "Well, there's a lot of different ways people can look at an indie based upon size, scope, all of this stuff, though." But it's weird how the fact he didn't really have a say with these nominees like that, and the fact that the judging panel that were the ones that were nominating all these games, that's how you can tell they're kind of a little bit out of touch. The fact that they did nominate a game like this, but they didn't really do their research and homework on what they wanted to actually vote upon. So that just kind of goes to say the
Well, it's
quality
because
of this actual show.
it's because money. They were like, "Oh, can you please put our game in best indie game? We'll pay you." Probably them. Or it really is as disrespectful as them just going, "Oh, looks like an indie game."
And no harm or no foul towards the people that actually made that game. I
I'm
mean,
pretty sure
because I mean, I'm
David
pretty sure
I've
it's a
heard good
good, fun
things.
game. You can play it on Switch. I know you can play it on PC and basically everywhere else. No flack to the people that made this game. This was more so for the fact of the judging panel and stuff nominating it and actually taking away from another slot where another indie game could actually rightfully deserve to be up in there, whatever it happened to be, like what, sixth place or not sixth. Yeah, no, yeah, sixth place.
Yeah,
But the winner
yeah,
of this one was Sea of Stars, which honestly is a really good game. And I played a little bit of it. I didn't manage to, actually go through the whole thing though. So I dabbled with it a little bit. But I could tell that's a good quality game right there. Let's see here. What's next? So we got best community support. I thought Final Fantasy 14 was gonna win this one, but Baldur's Gate 3 even beat out Destiny 2 and stuff. So I'm like, okay, okay. Best ongoing. Steven, your Fortnite lost this one.
it lost last year, and it's kind of funny, honestly. But at the same time, like Cyberpunk 2077 should not be there.
Which is funny because I guess that's just such a turnaround game at this point.
Not really. Like it's still
Uh,
like the same game in a lot of ways. Like if you didn't really like the vibe you were getting back then, you're still not gonna like the vibe now. People are just really, really held up on the fact, no, dude, they fixed the game. Dude, they fixed Cyberpunk 2077. I don't care that they fixed it now. If you buy that game now, like if you have a copy from launch day, you still have that same shitty ass one. And the fact that they released a game in that condition is kind of sad.
yeah, so it's kind of a
Like,
story, at least with this game, and trying to turn this thing around where I actually managed to win an ongoing, beating out Genshin Impact, beating out Fortnite, beating out Final Fantasy 14.
yeah.
I thought any one of those three games would have probably been the one to win this, let alone Cyberpunk 2077 or even
Yeah, I don't
Apex
know.
Legends for that fact. But
Final
yeah,
Fantasy 14 won last year, and I very much expected it to win again. It's Final Fantasy. It's a big game. Fortnite obviously did have just one of its most successful seasons and like a bunch of new stuff added, but at the same time, Game Awards, I don't know, they like to move on. They don't like to give the same game nominations year after year.
yeah.
Because they need to get the money out. They invite all these developers and stuff to Game Awards because they want to promote.
Right, it's all about a promotion, advertisement,
Yeah,
and
it just if it especially this year, kind of bleeding into like the whole showcase, it just felt all so fake.
hmm. Now this next category, games for impact. You don't
Who
know
cares?
any of these suckers.
Who I knew about Goodbye Volcano High only because it's a like people have been memeing the hell out of it.
Oh, because it's a furry game.
Oh, it's like a scaly game, I guess. Yeah, it's about like lizards. I don't know. People have
Oh, that's
been
furry, man. So anytime it's not a human being, that's some furry level
someone
mess.
made like a rip-off parody of it, and it got like more traction and is an objectively like just a better game than the original.
Hmm. But yeah, the winner on this one
It
is
just like
Tachia,
seems
I
like
guess. Yeah.
yeah, it just seems like one of those games that I could not hardly give a shit about. And like, good for the people that won, but like if your game is nominated for Games for Impact and that's it must not have been that fucking impactful.
I think that's just more like a game, games for impact that's kind of on the lower end side. That's not a triple A or a double A game or something like
It's
that.
impacting our
Yeah.
feelings, I guess. I don't know.
it's always hard to judge. I don't
Was
know.
Celeste? I don't remember if Celeste was nominated for Games for Impact back in 2018, but
I
that game made
yeah.
me feel a lot more than this one
I'll
or
say
any
that
of
I'll
these
agree
would
with
have.
that. Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, well, yeah, for everything I've seen of the nominations, because I kind of looked at some of them afterwards. Yeah, who fucking cares?
Let's see here. Innovation of inaccessibility. That winner went to Forza Motorsport. I actually thought Street Fighter Six was going to do it. The fact that you can have someone that's like blind actually play Street Fighter Six is crazy.
It is
It's
insane. It
it's
is.
hard for me to wrap my mind around it. So I thought literally that would have won it. But I know all of these games have some stuff kind of going for it though. But all right, I see you Forza. All right. Best performance of course, went to Neil Newbon from Baldur's Gate 3. I put my vote on Yuri for Spider-Man 2, but I guess that, no one really likes Spider-Man 2 during this show. I mean, that's my little pet peeve over there, but
Well,
ugh,
guess what? It could hardly matter as long as you like it. In my opinion, that's all that matters.
just hate how it got snubbed cleanly across the board. All right, let me go on before I go on this big tangent. Best audio design went
Yes.
to High Five Rush. I think that was the
Yeah.
one thing High Five Rush managed to get. Funny
Guess
how
what?
this
It's
one
the
got
only thing
one.
it's the only thing it needed.
It's funny how that game won, won a category versus Starfield that's been in development for how long? And this one was literally like
Wait,
a shadow drop, I think.
wait. Was Starfield also nominated for best audio design?
No, 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 not
Or are you
no,
talking
not
about
for this
Xbox
category.
games?
I was just talking about nominations across the board. Anything from Xbox, it got nominated, but High Five Rush was the game that actually managed to win something versus
Well,
you
cause,
know
cause
Starfield.
Starfield just fell off immediately because okay, I spent like 15 hours playing this game. I'm never gonna play it again.
Yeah.
I heard just a lot of negativity surrounding that game, and obviously there was the stupid drama surrounding. I don't know if you've seen like the whole thing with the pronouns.
Yeah, no.
People getting mad that it had pronouns in it, and I'm like, oh my god, grow up.
Yeah, I don't know. Best score in music. I'm surprised by this one. Final Fantasy 16. And you know what? I played.
Good.
I'm
It's a
close
good
to beating
soundtrack.
Final Fantasy 16. I feel like I'm like 6 hours off or something like that. I was literally playing that game right before this podcast, and the Titan boss fight theme. Oh shoot! I don't think I will ever forget that experience because that was just an epic fight on epic proportions. I think Platinum Games actually helped with working on and making sure the logistics on that fight scene and stuff just ran good because there's a lot of things going down within that fight though. But that music they played during that moment, oh, that's unforgettable. There's some more forgettable tracks I would say in this game, but there are when they do stand out, they stand out tremendously. So you know what? I'm glad Final Fantasy 16 managed to win something right there. Pretty good because I was thinking High Five Rush would have probably won something. I would have had no beef with that either though. But all right, let's see here. What else we got? All right, so best art direction. Alan Wake 2 won this one. It wasn't no Super Mario Bros. Wonder. It wasn't the Tears of the Kingdom, and it wasn't High Five Rush. Alan Wake 2 managed to pull that one. Let's see here. Best narrative. This is when Alan Wake 2 started going on a roll. Alan Wake 2 won this one too. Beat out, Final Fantasy 16, Spider-Man 2, Baldur's Gate 3, and Cyberpunk. What the heck is Cyberpunk up in? Oh, good gracious. Best game direction. All right, so we're down to the final two categories. All right, Steven. So, best game direction usually has a tendency, if you can win this category, sometimes you will win game of the year, but this one actually broke that trend. It can happen, but there's usually a pretty good strong correlation. And I was thinking Alan Wake 2 was going to be the dark horse winner because that was the one that won best game direction, though. So I don't know if it was recency bias or all of this stuff or what, but
I don't
I
think
was thinking this one was going to get
I
close to
don't
winning Game of the Year.
listen. I don't think a recency bias even is a factor anymore. I'm pretty sure it's just, because these people get to play these games early. Remember that.
I mean, yeah, they do get to play
It's
it
like
early.
it's
True.
not really recency bias, and it's also at the end of the day, it's just like okay, which game just came out and is big right now that when you see it on a list, people will watch.
Yeah, that
I don't
is
know. It's
that is
like
true.
I think it's just them putting like the biggest games possible on there. It's like because obviously, if these were actual gamers picking these lists, I feel like you'd have a lot more like lesser known games on all of these categories, and you wouldn't have indies restricted to their own little category. It's like the Oscars. It's the game version of the Oscars, where what should win usually doesn't.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Yeah. All right. And then game of the year, the big kahuna, the big fish, whatever you want to call this thing. We had six crazy nominees between Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Me personally speaking, I think I would have been okay if Spider-Man 2 would have won it. I would have been okay if Tears of the Kingdom would have won it because those arguably are two of my most favorite games of the year. I got a lot of things below it, but those are probably the top of the pinnacle or the peak of the Mount Everest. I would have been okay with Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and that would probably been it. However, I don't think Resident Evil 4 ever stood a chance. I feel like remakes always have a tough time with Game of the Year.
Yeah,
But to
probably, but it is good, and it got nominated in 2019, the remake for two. It's
yeah,
it's it's a good remake. It's just I think the original's better.
and the winner did manage to go to Baldur's Gate 3. I was almost concerned that Alan Wake 2 would have been a dark horse and would have won this thing, considering
But why
how
would
it
that?
also won
You
Best
say
Game Direction. But
you say
mm,
concerned, but like who cares really? Like the best game won best game probably. I haven't like I said I haven't played Baldur's Gate, but like I've heard a lot of people say a lot of good things about it. So good for the developers. They spent like how much time making that game?
yeah, they spent a good time on this, and while we're on the top of the Baldur's Gate 3, we'll talk about them mentioning how they got their awards and stuff like that. It was nice to see them go out on the stage, kind of give their thanks and stuff. And then this is where I started to have a little problem with the show and the way how Jeff Keighley managed to handle this stuff, because literally there was a couple of things that these people wanted to do on stage. One of them, I'll go ahead and mention this right now. While they were giving their acceptance speeches and all of that stuff, they had somebody that was like doing some of the choreograph or something with some part of game development or something like that, visually speaking, or something like that. And apparently, unfortunately, one of their people on their team managed to pass away before this. That was just one. Who knows? The way how they were wording it, it made it
They
seem
said
like there
multiple.
might have been multiple people. Yeah, like what you said. So, and they were just mentioning just one, let alone all the other
Well,
ones,
yeah,
though.
it's a
But it
it's
just
a game studio, like a decent size. Like there's a possibility it could have been multiple people.
Yeah, and so they were trying to give recognition for all of that, but you could tell that they were rushed and they were, just barely trying to get through all of that because they made a statement later. I don't know if it was on their Twitter accounts or something like that though, but they came out later and said, "Oh, we meant to actually say while we're on the stage that the Xbox version of Baldur's Gate 3 is now live or something like that, like some major update." They wanted to say that. But I felt like they forgot that probably because they were rushed to hurry up and finish their acceptance speeches, and they're like, "Oh shoot, who we gotta mention and say special thanks to and all this stuff." Especially when you have members on your team that are
It
lost,
is
like
messed
you
up in
wanted to
my
do that.
opinion.
So that didn't really rub me at all the right way, especially considering how you have other people that are doing then reading out the nominees have all the time in the world. But yet, when you accept it, it got to be between 30 seconds and 60 seconds, and you better get your tail off that stage.
And then Kojima gets like 6 minutes.
Yeah, and yeah, like what you say, yeah, it's completely unfair because I feel like hopefully everybody's pretty vocal about that, where they're saying stuff on Twitter, Facebook, wherever it may be at, and then hopefully people are very vocal about this because Jack Keighley takes constructive criticism to some degree,
Huh.
and I'm hoping
It
that the message gets across like this, especially considering the fact of what happened to some people. Like you even had people like Anuma, or one of the spearhead leaders for Legend of Zelda. And when he accepted that award on stage, he was going back and forth between his translator and him. Obviously, there's a language barrier between that. So obviously they need a little more time, yet they still got rushed off the stage.
yeah, but then they gave like the Muppet like 3 minutes.
Yeah, so yeah, the Game Awards should definitely be handled better. There's a lot more stuff I can honestly say about this though, but Let me see here. Well, we'll pause on that. We'll leave the beef out the statement right now. We'll transition over to the game announcements, and we'll come back around full circle with the overall picture right there. But you caught a little bit of our beef of why, some things we weren't super fans of, at least within this Game Awards thing right here, though. All right, so that's about it in terms of all the nominees. So probably spent more time focusing on the nominees and the people behind it, probably even more so than Jeff Keighley. Let's keep it a buck 50 here, though. Now, hopefully, you got your list out here, Stephen. No, because now, the fun part, or probably the part that most people like to tune in for the Game Awards, is the reveals, the announcements. That's where everybody was kind of up in here, though. But shoot, I'll, we'll go ahead and roll through all of these because I don't know about you, Steven, but I felt like the first half of the show was good in terms of the pacing. But after we got hit with like four major announcements, I would say, then it kind of dragged on for the second half of the show. Like in terms of announcements on the grand scale, was that how you were feeling?
Yeah, no, no, the second half of the show was extremely boring. Like you had so many games that just looked the exact same, all of these like sci-fi realistic games, these like action, like just like everything just blended in. And then you had the only thing later in the showcase that may be interesting to people is the new game from the No Man's Sky team, Light No Fire. But besides that, it just everything just felt a little stupid until the very end. The very end, uh, Monster Hunter Wilds got revealed, but we'll
Well,
talk about that.
shoot, you're doing this mess backwards. All right, we'll go backwards with this mess then. Only for this
Okay,
one title.
make it more. Let's make it interesting. Yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds is gonna be great.
All right, and thanks, IM, for stopping by, and thanks for your comments on that, though. But yeah, so was it the major thing that they ended the show off was obviously Monster Hunter. I'm not sure what number it is, but I feel like it's the next mainline one, and it seems like to be an open world. Like, was it Monster Hunter World? I feel like this was the sequel to Monster Hunter World in terms because like they kind of run like two
Yeah, it
different
is.
things in tandem, and I feel like this is that studio that's working on that.
Yeah, no, it is. I think they've already confirmed this is the Monster Hunter World team.
Yeah, so honestly, that was really cool. I felt like my gut was already telling me that we were gonna get something Monster Hunter wise shown off at this show. That's what I was really thinking, and lo and behold, yes, that was the case. So I feel like that was one of the big major highlights. It wasn't the only cool thing that I kind of liked seeing in terms of announcements, though, but that was definitely a good major hitter, at least to end it off. So at least Jeff knew how to end the show off in terms of announcements, though.
Yeah, but like at the same time, you had ads, you had this, you had that. The show kind of fell downhill after that the announcement.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and rewind it back to the very, very beginning. I would say the first meaningful announcement, and obviously I can't sit down and talk about everything that was announced. I'm just going to mention the big marquee things that most people are going to probably care about, or at least I personally care about. So one thing that caught me off surprise was that yes, Kratos returns in some DLC. That's a shadow drop for the show, and it's free. I was thinking that this was going to be the equivalence of like Burning Shores, but for the Burning Shores for the equivalent for God of War. That's what I was thinking originally, but the fact they shadow dropped this out of nowhere, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. What do you think about that?
I thought it was cool, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like I'm a big God of War fan though, but I feel like that kind of set the tone because I felt like that was either the second or the third announcement in the show overall. So I felt like, you know what, that kind of set the tone like, hey, we might get some good stuff. Cause I felt like last year, in terms of announcements, it wasn't great, but I thought it was okay. But this one I felt like it was definitely a step up in terms of the announcements though. Let's see here. After that one, oh, I'm trying to remember the exact order that some of these things were in. Okay. One of the things was I would say the big major thing outside of the new Monster Hunter game actually being announced was the Sega moment right there. That Sega moment. And I managed to clip out some of these scenes from whenever I streamed the Game Awards. So if you're curious about seeing my reactions for it, I had the whole stream up on my channel, but I did manage to do some highlights on it though. But the fact that Sega came out here in this trailer and I heard that noise with the Sonic rings and stuff, I was like, oh, this is that Sega thing that they were talking about, where they were like, hey, you know what? New era, new energy. Tune into the Game Awards. I was like, the heck is Sega on right now? Because I'm telling you, if they do something kind of weird or something like that, or something for arcades and stuff, I'm gonna be like, what the heck y'all try to hype all these people up for? But as I saw these games between Jet Set Radio and then I saw Crazy Taxi up on the screen and then Streets of Rage and some other stuff up in here, Battle Axe, and I was like, what the heck is this?
Golden
And
Axe.
I was thinking, yeah, Golden Axe. And I was thinking, I was like, wait a minute. I was thinking, is this some kind of arcade kind of thing? Just, some simple ports and stuff. And then they said all these games are in development. I was like, oh shoot.
Yeah, it definitely was a power move. Even if they're all lower budget games, that's still 5 games, and that's the games people want. People have wanted like a new Jet Set Radio and a new Crazy Taxi for how long? And then you also bring out the other ones like Golden Axe. That Shinobi game is the one that was like hand drawn art style, kinda.
Yeah, the one that kind of looked like
Looked
or
really good.
not an Ori, oh shoot, that one Capcom game. But yeah,
It looks good though. I'd say the first meaningful announcement for me was the new game from the Dead Cells team, which is called Windblown. It had the animated trailer where all these like animals were like dying. It was like
I didn't
bloody.
have that one on my list, but I think I remember the one you're
It
talking
was
about.
early in the show, but
It
yeah,
wasn't
it
in the
was.
pre-show by chance, was it?
I don't think so. No, I
I don't
think it
think
was
they
like
showed
very
anything
early.
good in the
I think
pre-show.
it was very early in the main show, but like either way, like Dead Cells, in my opinion, is one of the best roguelikes. It is like with Enter the Gungeon and Binding of Isaac for me for just like the very best from that genre. And that was like the first announcement that made me go, "Oh crap, they're bringing out the good ones."
Hmm. Yeah. So
And then
yeah. So
obviously my opinions on the Sega thing, it's great. So many games that people wanted to see, so many games that it feels like Sega finally realized maybe we shouldn't just only do Sonic, Persona, and Yakuza. We have all these franchises people want to see.
yeah, and it was kind of funny because I think they said thanks to Persona, Yakuza, and Sonic, like the three major marquee titles. It was thanks to them that was kind of keeping Sega afloat, where it's gonna
Yeah,
allow them to pull up these games, Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Crazy Taxi. It's gonna allow these things to be possible because the other three managed to keep the ship afloat. So I'm
and
like,
I think
okay, finally.
Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi will probably be the most successful out of all these.
Those are the 2 I'm looking forward to the most, like, those are the ones I feel like more than likely, if I see stuff in there that I know I really like, then yeah, I'll probably more than likely pick up those 2 titles, though. The rest of them, kinda curious about Shinobi, though, but the rest of them, I have to see exactly how they turn it out 'cause, this is modern Sega, they still could mess it up. The important thing is they said "and more," so it's
Right.
not even just gonna end with these titles,
You
there's more
say
to come.
you say modern Sega, it's only Sonic Team because Persona games have, obviously people have liked the last couple Persona games. Persona 5 everyone liked, and Persona's been fine. Yakuza has people have been really liking the last few. It's only Sonic Team that pulls out these consistently like mid games.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So
true.
like I don't know. It's kind of it's really sad that like I don't know. I like Sonic games, but it feels like they're bringing down like what could be amazing games from an amazing franchise. I think yeah, obviously for the longest time I feel like Sega focused too much on Sonic.
Yeah, and I'm glad to see the love kinda shared because a lot of people that grew up in the era of when the Dreamcast was a thing and stuff, I mean, they kinda remember that amazing lineup of games and stuff, which I can't really relate to that. I've managed to, dabble or see people play these games, etcetera, though. But it's gonna be interesting how they handle this with a new audience of people with a younger generation in terms of introducing them to all these other new IPs that are gonna be new for a lot of people, but for the oldies out there, yeah, they knew and loved these growing up and playing them. But yeah, so I think that's about it in terms of the Sega announcement. Now, I think literally right after the Sega announcement, oh shoot, my reaction on this one though. We managed to see some more footage for the Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 4 game, which they're actually calling it Sparking Zero. And I
Isn't
looked
it
at that
based off the
footage.
Japanese title?
Yeah, the actual Japanese title is based upon Sparking, and I don't know the Zero part, but the Sparking series, yes. So we knew it over here in the West as Budokai, but they over there knew it as Sparking. So I guess they're trying to, just make sure it's like a universal language now. So that,
I
nonetheless,
think
it's
it's a
still our
cooler
Budokai
title.
4, but yeah.
I think it's a cool title personally.
I think so
R-
too. I think it's pretty cool. I'm just gonna
Rolls off the tongue.
I'm just gonna miss saying Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. I'm just gonna miss saying, that was a long title, granted though, but it is cool nonetheless though. Obviously, we got like a small little taste of the combat. It looks really good, really clean. I would say it's up there with Xenoverse 2, but just take it up to another level, like a 2.0. I mean, the animation stuff looks great. It looks amazing. The shading and stuff. Obviously, with the addition of all these different characters and stuff, like a lot of them, we're gonna have like a whole new arc. Cause like usually when you play these Dragon Ball games, you're used to going through the whole Dragon Ball Z arcs, right? The Saiyan saga, the Frieza saga, the Cell saga, the or Android, and the Majin Buu saga. But now that we have Dragon Ball Super, that's a whole nother saga that we get to play within that old classic, formula that we used to grow up on. So that's gonna be interesting seeing that. 'Cause I hadn't played Super storyline within a game at all. I technically have access to do that on Z Kakarot, but I hadn't made it up to that point yet, though. But nonetheless, I'm really looking forward to this and all the different characters you're able to do. Please, Bandai Namco, let us be able to use like characters such as like Cell and still be able to rob people's energy or like their health bar by just doing a simple
Important
grab and stuff.
question
That
about
was
this
just
game.
funny. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Is did we get gameplay in the trailer or was it all cinematic?
Think technically, let me look at this mess again because I felt like some parts. Well, hold on. I'm looking at it now. No, yeah, there's some parts that are gameplay up in there, like when Goku smashes Vegeta down and they do a quick roll and then they do like a Kamehameha and stuff like that. Like that is actual, fighting, but I just don't think you see the UI menus like with the health bar
Oh
and stuff
yeah.
popping up. So it
It
looks like a
looks
cutscene, but I
it
think that
yeah,
is
no,
actual gameplay.
it looks really nice. Like they've basically perfected the style of cell shading that Fighter Z also looked really nice in that too.
Yeah, no, yeah, even looking back at it now, no, there's good moments all across this trailer. It's just like small snippets here and there though, but really cool though. But yeah, the roster for this game could be absolutely insane between all your Z fighters, between all the arcs that you can do in Dragon Ball Z, Super. Who knows? They might still put the GT stuff up in there, and obviously you might have a few characters from the OG Dragon Ball too. I don't know. This is gonna be crazy, and who knows? They might do DLC stuff. So even when that new anime Dragon Ball Daima comes out, who knows? They might update the game or put stuff like that. I wouldn't put it past Bandai considering all the crazy season passes they managed to do for this series and stuff though. But I think I rambled about Dragon Ball so long. No year yet, but I feel like they said they've been working on this game for 5 years in development. So I do have a feeling it's going to come out in 2024, but they hadn't dated it yet. But nonetheless, looks really cool.
It does look pretty cool, and I'm not really a big like person on these, but they looks good.
Man, you don't know about that era whenever see when people did like blast waves, like imagine, what a Kamehameha is. Like you got two characters doing that beam attack towards each other. Back in the day with Budokai games, you had to roll the control stick around as fast as you can in a circle to fend it off and hurt the other opponent. So oh shoot, like we were grinding our hands on some nunchucks back in the day on the Wii and stuff. Oh man, that was great. I don't know how they will handle that within this game because man, controller bills nowadays and stuff like these controllers can't take a beating, especially when these things cost $70. So I'm wondering how they're gonna handle that though. But honestly, I'm really looking forward to this game. Let me see. The next one I had up on my thing, and I felt like this was like the last good one. Oh, I wouldn't say it's the last good one, but it was a last good solid one that was announced until we kind of went in our period of drought. And that was we're getting another Mana game called Visions of Mana. This one took me off by surprise a whole lot. I knew that they were going to work on a new game in the series and stuff. They had several projects within the Mana series, like they did the mobile game and stuff like that, though. But I wasn't expecting to see this at that show. And, you can look at my reaction. My reaction kind of says it all, though. But I've been waiting on another game to be in the Mana series. It is a brand new entry. It's not a remake or anything like Trials of Mana, but it takes the Trials of Mana's engine in terms of the gameplay aspect, and it takes it to another level. Obviously, it seems like it's going to be a game might be a little bigger in scope, but also still deliver in terms of that good gameplay that we had within Trials of Mana. Because I love that game to bits. Kind of one of my underrated gems. That's probably on the Nintendo Switch that you can buy, or I think technically you can buy it on PS4 as well, though. But nonetheless, that game comes out in 2024, so that is a game I'll pick up more than likely on day one. But do you know the Mana series outside like Secret of Mana and stuff like that, Steven?
Well, obviously, Secret of Mana is very well known, but like, I'm not really that like, I'm not, I don't know them that well.
Hmm. Okay. Let's see.
They look, they look cool.
Yeah, man. If you do happen to try it out, or anybody else that's listening to this, I highly recommend trying out Trials of Mana, the remake, because that was a game that was never localized for us here in the West originally. So if you want to kind of get a feel of what this game could potentially be like, and yeah, I would highly recommend. No, even going back and looking at this footage now, I could tell this game is going to be much grander in scope. Oh shoot! But yeah, I recommend playing Trials of Mana and get yourself ready before trying to play this game right here, though. But that was a really solid announcement right there. One of my personal highlights from the show in general, though. Let me see here. Um, there's a
Um,
couple. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, the last actual notable announcement for me was probably the Final Fantasy VII remake like trailer. Like, okay, well, besides Rebirth getting like a new trailer and like teasing the one iconic moment that everyone knows about but won't say. Um, the Blade game was a big surprise.
That one rubbed me off the wrong way. The fact that technically that is Xbox's Marvel game right there. And you know me, Steven. I own a PlayStation and I own a Nintendo Switch in terms of consoles. And I'm like, shoot, this is gonna be one of those Marvel games where I'm like, I really want to go through and play it and own the copy for myself physically. But that's just not going to be the case because I am not buying an Xbox Series X just to buy this game whenever it does happen to come out. So, I mean, luckily I can still have access to playing it. I mean, because luckily it'll be on PC, so I'll play it on my Asus ROG Ally and play it that way, though. But it is
Here's
going to
a
suck because I usually like collecting Marvel games. Just being a Marvel fan, I am.
Yeah, here's a good way to get past that. Buy it on PC and then still buy a physical Xbox version and then
Heck no! What the heck? Why would I just buy a random Xbox game to sit that sucker up on my shelf? It had to
keep it
be
in
It
keep
had
it
to
in
be
cold
a
storage.
extremely good game. I mean, an extremely good game for me to double dip and do that with. Considering how this game might cost $70.
Oh, of course it will. Come on. Of
So
course it
I'm like,
will.
it's gonna be enough for me just already buying it on PC digitally and just calling it a day like that.
And
I don't know.
I forgot what these developers made before this. I'm checking.
Oh, people, I don't know why,
Okay,
but
wait,
people
I
were
feel it's
associating
okay.
it.
The
Oh,
people from Deathloop and the
yeah.
Dishonored franchise.
Okay, good. I was trying to make sure you didn't mention what was it? Redfall. Because even though there's like a certain division that might do some little overlap, it's not necessarily the same people, the same exact
Yeah,
people. So I was just making sure you didn't say that. But yeah.
I would have heard people saying that more. Oh my god, the Redfall devs. No, I've heard good things about this. It'd be kind of weird that they do a vampire game and then immediately do a game about a guy who hunts vampires.
Hmm. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that game nonetheless. I just hate how physically I might not pick it up that way. I just have to be content with a digital copy. But the announcement's cool, but I feel like we're going to be a good handful. I feel like that might be a game that comes out. Dude, it might be towards the end of this generation with the PS5, the Xbox Series system. Like it's going to be some years off. Like I don't even think it's going to be 2 years off. It might be more like four. I don't know. But yeah, I think that
Who
was a
knows?
solid one. And you mentioned Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, in which it was cool seeing that announcement and them singing and doing that show and stuff on the stage with the trailer though. But I didn't figure out until after the fact there was a trailer that was dedicated towards it. That was the full version without the singing and stuff like throughout a good chunk of it. And I was like, oh shoot! So I went back and watched that trailer. Gosh, it looks cool. Man, gonna be up on the flying saucer. Obviously, you're gonna have that date with Air between Cloud and stuff. I'm kind of curious to see what the interactions of what will be with Zach and stuff because we know how Zach's story is played out at the end of Crisis Core and stuff. So I'm like, I'm really looking forward to this game. It's definitely my most highly anticipated game for 2024 though. But I'm already sold on the game. At this point, I probably won't see any more trailers on it. I'm content as is. I got the deluxe edition already pre-ordered though, so I'm pretty set on this. Let me see here. One thing I wanted to point out, Steven, because I didn't know if you happen to notice this though, but there's a game that was called. Well, shoot, I'm trying to pull up this tweet. I'm trying to figure out exactly what it's called. Oh, come on. Oh yeah, it's called Rest for the Wicked. No Rest for the
No.
Wicked. And I was
Yeah,
like,
no rest for the wicked.
and I was looking at this game at first before we knew the title, and I was like, what is this game? I don't know if it's gonna be for me. And then I saw the two little circles pop up, and they rotated around, and it said Moon Studios. I was like, oh shoot, because they're the creators that made the Ori game, so Blind Forest and Will of the Wisp, and those are some of my best favorite platformers of all time, up there with Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. So this
I
game got my immediate attention based purely around that. While yes, it's not going to be like a platform game or something like that, it seems to be like a different kind of style direction and stuff. But nonetheless, because of the studio and the pedigree it has, I'm definitely going to keep my eye out on this one. So I have to see how this game plays out.
yeah.
Let me see here, and I think what was it? We're getting down to like one of the last couple of announcements, at least that I thought that was noticeable. You remember that Jurassic Park Survival reveal?
Yeah, yeah, it's just gonna be Resident Evil, like Jurassic Park.
I
Maybe it's
mean,
gonna be good, but like who fucking knows? I don't know because they showed like cinematic only, and they've done that with so many games recently. I just want to see like what type of game your game is. Like I don't know about you, but didn't you get tired of like every single game like being like this open world, this open world action, action live service game with this and that. Like they just all using the exact same words to describe their games.
yeah. I mean, I get a little bit burned out, yeah. But at least for me, personally speaking, I love myself some dinosaurs. I
Yeah.
don't think I really kind of threw that out there for a lot of people to know. But I like myself some Jurassic Parks, Jurassic World and all that stuff. So when I first saw this, I was like, quit playing around with me. This better be a legit, an actual dinosaur
Good
game
game.
that's actually a
Yeah.
good quality one. It ain't like a VR experience. Because there was like one moment up in there where I saw like the hands and feet. So I knew it was first person, but after one moment I thought it was a VR game. That kind of put me off. And that's what I thought it was. But then after looking back at it, I see how it's coming out to the PS5, the Series X, PC, and stuff. And I'm like, oh, it's an actual console game. So I'm gonna keep my eye out on that one. I don't know if it's gonna be good or not, but I think there's potential in it. And if it's good enough, I might happen to pick it up. So I have to wait and see on this one though. But if it's good, oh shoot, I've been wanting to play a good dinosaur game. I'm just saying. And I think that's almost it in terms of most of the announcements since we already talked about Monster Hunter Wilds and stuff. However, Square Enix had one more thing to showcase off in this one, though. And they did manage to announce there is a DLC expansion coming out for Final Fantasy 16. One is called Echoes of the Fallen, the other one's called The Rising Tide. Echoes of the Fallen is a shadow drop, and you can pick that up, as soon as they announced that at the Game Awards, which was really cool. You could buy the expansion pack, which is gonna have both of these for $25, or you can just pick up Echoes of the Fallen, and that's actually $10 actually to start off with. And then who knows, maybe I guess to kinda persuade people to get the expansion pass. Who knows when the Rising Tide actually comes out? It probably won't be $15. It's probably gonna be like $20 though. But from what I heard, I think the first part is like 3 hours long. And I think that Rising Tide, the bigger thing, is gonna be like 8+ hours or something like that in terms
Yeah,
of, how long it takes for you to get through those story beats and stuff like that. So I know like one of the I guess getting the DLC pre-ordered and stuff like this, they do manage to give you the Buster Sword, Zack and Cloud's weapon from Final Fantasy VII. So that is kind of a little cool knick-knack that you managed to get up in the game though. But I'm still going through 16 as of this moment, so I'm like I don't have the need to buy the thing right now. But the second I about finish the game, then I'll probably will pick it up and buy it because I've been liking my time with 16 though. And I guess technically all the summons in the game, we hadn't seen everything within the baseline story. So I think Leviathan is going to be featured and showcased off within the Rising Tide though. So really cool stuff. Well, I think that was like the second or the third from last thing that was revealed in the show. And obviously we already talked about the Monster Hunter Wilds thing. And I think that's about it in terms of
yeah.
major game announcements. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about or anything I didn't have on my list, Steven?
Not really. Talking about it bored me as much as the second half of the showcase. Just like there's so much shit that I like. There's so much so many games that I just did not care about in that second showcase. I'm looking at this list right now, Zard. So much I just did not care about.
No, yeah, yeah, and that because I think literally when they hit us with I would say the triple whammy. When they hit us with, what was it, the Sega, then they hit us with the Dragon Ball Z Budokai, and then they hit us with Visions of Mana. After Visions of Mana was over with, they did show off, what was it, that Ronin game that's the PlayStation exclusive. That was kind of cool. But after that, it was a drought all the way until we got to the Final Fantasy VII stuff, and then another little mini drought until we got to Final Fantasy 16 and the Monster Hunter stuff at the very tail end. It was quite a drought between that. And I was like, oof. So now we can go ahead and talk about our overall thoughts on the show as a whole, though. But I will say, you know what, Jeff, this show was 3.5 hours long, including the pre-show. Otherwise, it was just, a regular 3 hours. I feel like if they would have took like maybe an hour or so off from this main show, I felt like it would have been cool. I feel like the show needs to stay within 2 hours. I mean, you can have the pre-show if you want, but if you can keep the main show within 2 hours, I think that's gonna be much better. That would have got rid of most of that flack that we honestly really didn't care too much about. Um, like what I could tell based on the way how you were talking, Steven. It's like if we were to eliminate that hour, it probably would have fixed everything, at least from our point
Or
perspective,
even
though.
just give the developers that hour who want to talk about their games and who they thank for them.
Yeah,
Like, the please wrap it up is an embarrassment. That is unacceptable in my eyes that like these people, making a game can't be easy while talking about one certainly is easy.
yeah, and then did you see that? I think there was like a Twitter post where they had that little sign that showed up in the very back, and it's like, "Please wrap it up." And I was like,
That's what I'm
"That's what it looked like."
referencing. And it was yeah, it was a big like TV screen or something just saying please wrap it up. And apparently there was like one guy that went on stage and like only five seconds after he started talking, please wrap it up.
Dang! Oh, good gracious!
It's really sad.
Yeah, so literally take away from the nominees or not the nominees. Take away from the people that are talking about the nominees right before the introduction. Have them be there, but in terms of their talking presence, let them only speak for 30 seconds or a minute at tops.
Two
And
I'd
then
say
on the
I'd
and then
say
put all that
two
extra time on the
minutes.
back end, so when the people actually go up to accept it, they have all of that extra time that the other people were taking up on the front end. If you literally flipped it, the show would have been a little bit more digestible and stuff. Like you
Or
don't have to have all
even
of these Hollywood actors, taking up that much time.
yeah, or just yeah, like they had so many Hollywood actors coming up on stage. During the Kojima thing, who did they have come up on stage? It was like some popular
Oh,
actor,
it was some other dude
musician,
that's
or
gonna
something.
help, yeah, with whatever Kojima's working on and with.
I don't know, but it was just like, come on, 6 minutes on that. You had Anthony Mackie, aka Captain America, come up on stage and just say nothing and talk about nothing.
Yeah.
And like, probably only because he was in Twisted Metal, but still, it sucked.
You know what? And the one
Matthew
thing is, it
McConaughey was up on stage for like 3 minutes. Oh, I'm gonna be in this game. This is the first game I've ever been in. I did not even see him in the trailer.
yeah. And I guess the one thing I will say is, let's say if Jeff Keighley's like, no, I want to bring these people in to talk about stuff on the front end. All right, you're gonna be stubborn like that. All right, let's stick with your motto. However, let's make it more relevant to the topic at hand. Get rid of these Hollywood people and stuff like that. The people that really don't know much games and stuff like that, and have the people presenting the awards actually be game developers or people associated within gaming itself. So whenever they do say something about an award, maybe they have an experience with, like, let's say the RPG, whoever nominates that. Let's just say Anuma was the one presenting the award for whoever happened to win the RPG category of the year, and it's not like a Legend of Zelda game that gets nominated that year. At least
Oh
he
yeah,
can
make it
speak about
interesting.
stuff with game development stuff. So at least on that side, it'll be on the topic at hand from somebody in gaming in general for what we're actually there to
Or
recognize in general. And then he can spin that to the developers and let the developers talk about, what they wanted to do. Then that way you have everything encompassing gaming from start to finish.
or even a better idea, an even better idea, Zard. Such a good idea. Just have Jeff Keighley do them all.
You
Just
know
like
what?
he's the host.
I'll do you one better. Have that woman do all of them better. I feel like the
Uh,
woman's better than Jeff
oh
Keighley
yeah,
presenting the
you
award.
know what? Like the happy one,
Yes, the one
where
that
like
was mainly doing like the pre-show stuff.
no.
Like,
Oh, I
that
thought you
woman.
meant
Yeah.
the Japanese woman that was on stage, the one
Oh,
that
no, no,
people.
no. I didn't mean her, no.
No, but like, no, no, she was annoying. I don't know. She annoyed me. Like they were trying to make stupid ass jokes the whole time, and like, whatever. It must be hard to talk to millions. Obviously being on a stage, millions of people watching you, it must be stressful. But my God, I was not interested at all. But by the way, I mentioned her. You know that like the I forgot her name, but like that girl that like went on to like make her own studio.
Oh, you talking about
Um,
the girl that was always happy that showed up in last year's show too?
Yeah, I forgot her name, but she's making a new game and it kind of looks interesting. It's like
Kind of looks cool.
it's got like a modern setting with like yokai that you hunt down.
Mhm.
Uh yeah, that was the only other game that like looked cool, but like didn't really see much of it, so,
Mhm.
Besides that, Game Awards this year was kind of mid. Like it started off really good and I was willing to be like, "Okay, it's a great showcase, man." My God, but then you gave me an hour of nothing. An hour of absolutely nothing, and then you end it with Monster Hunter, and then you don't even let the Baldur's Gate developers have their time. They won Game of the Year, and you literally won't even let them talk about it.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
my
I'm
God,
kind of in the same boat
what
with
is the
you.
Game Awards even about if it's not celebrating games?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat with you. I'd say it's a little better than mid because I felt like last year's show was definitely mid. Like, whole shoot, you went back and saw that one. That was,
I'm checking.
ooh,
I'm
that one was
checking.
rough. That one was rough last year. This one actually had meaningful announcements because everything we got in last year's show was stuff that we already knew about. And even in the lead up to this show, Jeff Keighley kept more things close to his chest because more things were first time reveals, like the Visions of Mana and stuff like that, the Monster Hunter new game and stuff like that. The Blade announcement, Jurassic Park, whatever you wanted to say.
Okay,
A lot more of
I,
that
I
stuff was brand new versus stuff we already knew about.
I was looking back at the trailer. I don't know. Or no, the thing last year, Hades 2 got shown off. Hades 2 got shown off. Final Fantasy 16 got the release date. Armored Core 6, Death Stranding 2,
Mhm.
the Cyberpunk 2077 like DLC, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Like there were a lot of games last year. It's just that it was another situation of being too long.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. So
And I think they got to mix up the next one personally.
yeah, so I would say overall, I thought the show was between okay and good. It wasn't a solid good because shoot, they took that hour out of the show. I thought this would have been a fairly good show. But, between that, rushing the people that were actually getting the awards and stuff, fix up on that stuff, Jeff. Just fix up on that stuff. And then I think we're almost on the track of having a fairly good show, barely. I don't know. But yeah, I feel like there's still quite a ways to go before we get this show up on the par in terms of like the respect it deserves and the way how everything's kind of mitigated and stuff to shows like an Oscars or a Grammys or something like that though. But overall, it was okay. The announcements were definitely better than last year's. Just fix up and tune the little things for me, Jeff, and then from that way, hopefully next show will be a little bit more tight. So I think that's all I got to say. Any other things on the show, Steven?
Nah,
All righty. Well, all right. So that basically does it in terms of the Game Awards topic right now. We got a little bit more time in comparison to some of these last podcast shows we managed to do, though. So we'll go ahead and spin it over to the next topic, that being so about that show. Alrighty, so lately I felt like I've been watching some stuff, and then more so Christmas movies, but I'll try to dodge away from that for a little bit because I know I'll be talking about it quite a bit within the next episode for the holiday special. But I think lately, I felt like I watched a movie here recently. I'm trying to remember what the heck was it? Oh gosh, go
I
ahead and
know
go with what.
I've
Go
only
ahead and
been
talk
watching
about what
Christmas
you've
stuff.
been watching, Steven.
I've only been watching Christmas stuff. I watched all the Home Alone movies, as I said at the beginning of this, and I also watched Nightmare Before Christmas again. Great movie. And that's about it.
Dang it! I know. Golly, that slipped my mind. I really wanted to talk about this sucker
Oh
too,
wait, okay, wait, I got one. It's not a movie, but I've been watching a lot of
or a
It's Always
show. It can
Sunny in
be anything.
Philadelphia. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Wait, what's
It's
that about?
it is a sitcom.
Wait,
Like
people
it
still
is a
watch
sitcom on
sitcoms
a.
nowadays?
Okay, yeah, it's like I guess okay, sitcom is a weird word to use to describe it. Uh, I guess it kind of counts as a sitcom, but it's mostly it's about five. I'm gonna quote the IMDb page. Five friends with big egos and small brains are the proprietors of an Irish pub in Philadelphia.
Hmm.
So it's all of the main characters are idiots and only serve to make other people's lives around them miserable. So there's tons of comedy that comes up in how they constantly make people's lives worse
Oh,
and like how they play off of each other because it's like it's like a main group. I don't really know how to describe it in any sort of way. I just like it a lot. It's very surreal. It's very like it's black like black comedy. It's got its offensive moments, but it's fun. It's got Danny DeVito as a main character in it.
okay, okay.
But yeah, it's good. Charlie Day, who plays Luigi, is a main character in it.
Hmm. I
Let me
feel
let
like
me
that dude
find.
pops up in like almost everything.
I'm gonna send you an image in your DMs. If you've ever seen this image, just know that it is from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm sending it to you. Wait, this is probably one of the most iconic images from it. But like, yeah,
Oh,
there you
that
go.
dude. Okay, the dude with the whole conspiracy theory thing with all the papers in the bag and having them marked around and stuff
Yeah,
like, this all
yeah,
adds up. Okay, I gotcha.
yeah. That's one of the less crazy episodes. Just
Bro.
for it's a very insane show, but it's funny. You would I know for a fact you would not like it. Like it is not your type of humor.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. I don't know. Maybe I just need to see the clip where that meme comes from because I'm just kind of
Oh no,
curious
it's
about that.
got yeah, like you can enjoy clips, but if you watch a single episode of this show, my God, like they go out of your way to make you hate every like character. It's
Right.
funny though.
Let me see here. Well, since I can't remember whatever movie it happened to be, I felt like it was something maybe off of Disney Plus. It'll probably come back to me later though. But in ter- oh dear, in terms of anime wise, I've been watching a good amount of stuff. There's one thing I kind of wanted to talk about. Oh, I feel like I did half of my anime talks. All right, so I got an interesting one for you, Steven. I know you probably never heard about this though, but it's called 100 Girlfriends
Fuck that.
that
No,
really love you.
I could hardly care. I'm sorry. I'll be completely honest with you.
Man, this is
No.
the most peak fiction thing I've ever seen in my life right here. Like this dude, most people don't like harem animes and stuff like that. Some people kind of got burned out on this though. I actually read the manga a little bit because Sonic U actually recommended it to me at one point. So I was like, all right, I'll see what you're talking about on this. And that's how I got introduced to the thing. So weird scenario where I actually knew about the manga before the anime was even announced and stuff. But holy shoot, this thing lived up to the hype. The craziest, dumbest, stupidest stuff you ever seen though. But whole shoot, it is really entertaining. I will leave it at that. Just look that up. You can just see one preview, or you can see the stuff pop up on Twitter and stuff throughout the weeks though. But it is funny. You can watch it sub or dub. It's on Crunchyroll and stuff like that. But it's a pretty fun experience though. But a little more serious one that I think you actually would like, Steven. It's called Shangri-La Frontier. Now, I know you heard of I know you heard about this anime called Sword Art Online. I know you heard about that, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that, but different in the sense
So
that
it's an
it's like
isekai.
it's an anime that's based upon a game, but it's like a VR game. So kind of like it's kind of like what you saw with an SAO, but it's handled quite drastically different. Obviously, it
So
doesn't
it's an
have the same feel.
isekai.
Yeah, so it was basically an isekai, but you know how they treat those shows whenever it's a VR game technically, but
Like, oh,
it's yeah,
none of this is real, but like,
but it's real to us when we're
uh
watching it because it's based upon stuff happening within a game.
yeah, like I don't know. Most of those isekais go one of two ways. Either the character just immediately likes the new world they're in and they like it more than the real world, or they want to go back and they don't like it at all.
Yeah, but
And like, and then by yeah,
this one's completely different because the dude that's in here, he's a trash gamer. Like he likes to play games that are really bad. Like that is his hobby. He likes to play everything that's bad,
oh, so
things that are
me.
laggy, things that trip you up. If you're doing a fighting combo sequence and like breaking the game and people take advantage of that, he plays all sorts of bad trash games. That's his motto. So he's a little different in that thing. But then there's one game that pops up that's an actual good game. And it was like some girl that he knew at the store, and she was like, "Hey, you know what? For once, maybe you want to actually try playing a good game, make you appreciate the bad games a little bit better." And he's like, "All right, I'll try this out." And he's like, "Oh shoot, this game is actually really good." But using all the experience he gained from the bad games, he's able to apply it to the game that he's in right now. And this is like one of those shows that's actually going to get 26 episodes. So it's been running for the fall season and it's going to be running into the winter season as well, though. But it's such a more unique approach to this kind of stuff, given the way how the character interacts. Like, I hadn't seen a lot of these. Shows, it's like more like a copy paste with Sword Art Online, but this is a quietly drastic different feel. Like any gamer out there that plays games that watch this could easily relate on this with a lot of different things. So I would recommend, if anything you watch, anything that I would recommend this one to you, Steven, because I think you would actually genuinely would like this one. But I could keep going on about my picks and stuff though, but that's just a couple things that kind of came into mind, at least with what I've been watching. Whew. All right, so I think that's about it in terms of that segment, and I think we got a little more time before we wrap things up. So we'll go ahead and jump over to the very last topic, that being so what you been playing? Alrighty, so lately, at least for me, I've been going through and playing a decent amount of stuff on my PS5 and a little bit of stuff on my Switch. I don't know about you, Steven, though, but like I said earlier in the show, every December when that time comes around, I always tend to play a little bit more Final Fantasy games. Like right now, I'm playing 16. Last year was Crisis Core, and the one before that was Final Fantasy 7 remake and stuff. So I don't
Well,
know. Now
yeah,
this is probably going to be a tradition of me playing some kind of Final Fantasy game in the month of December.
it's
But
just a slow period right now for Switch games. It happens.
yeah, so I don't know. I always tend to play more PlayStation games during the winter and early spring months because that's when Nintendo stuff tend to die down until roughly around June-ish, like right around summertime. Then they pick up or late spring, early summer. That's when they pick up a whole bunch, and then I kind of flip and primarily play Switch. But these winter months, these slow time of the years, I tend to shift over to my PlayStation a little bit more. But yeah, I've been going through and playing that. On the Switch side of things, I've been playing a little bit of Mario Wonder here and there. I still haven't beaten that game yet, Steven, surprisingly. Mainly because I guess Final Fantasy 16 took all my time. So once I finish that, I'll be more likely to jump over to Mario Wonder. But still, Mario Wonder's a good game. So I've been playing that. And I actually managed to pick up Splatoon 3 again for the first time with it being a new season and all. So I was like, I gotta check out these new specials and
Yeah,
weapons and stuff. So I think
they
between
added
those three
that
things
new
I've been
map.
doing.
That new map is really good, actually. The Robo Ramen. It feels like a Splatoon 2 map. It's nice and open. It has a lot of paths to take.
See, that's the weird thing because I didn't start playing Splatoon again until like after a couple or a few days of the new season. So I hadn't actually been able to play on those new maps yet. So it is
They're
a
good.
little odd. So I'm gonna have to actually check the schedule out in advance and time it up so actually I can be able to play on one of those two maps. But yeah, they look cool from the footage and stuff I saw. The maps look cool. I'm trying to think. Outside of that, I think that's mostly what I've been playing. I do know this week there is a couple of things coming out. One on Switch, one on PlayStation side. PlayStation wise, Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising is going to be coming out on Wednesday. So I am trying to pick up that game. There's a free version you can play, and it's weird to have a fighting game with a free version. It's limited with what you can do, but you can do everything up to chapter one in the story though. So if people want to try it out, you can. But yeah, I am picking that up on Wednesday, and then on Thursday you have the DLC for Pokemon stuff for what is it?
I
Indigo Disc.
it does not look appealing at all. I'm sorry.
I already
I
got the
I
thing. I already bought that whatever it is. So I got to finish
yeah,
up
but
this
like
Living Dex. That's the main drive, at least for
no,
me.
I know. It's just that they haven't even done a good job actually making it seem interesting, personally.
Yeah, I mean, this one seems a little bit better in comparison to the Teal Mask because I guess they're having its equivalent where they have all the legendaries and stuff. Like you're actually able to go through and capture
Yeah,
all
but
of
like
them again.
they do that every single Pokemon game. I just
I
don't
think that
care
yeah, they've
anymore.
been doing that since what was it, Sun and or Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon with those
Yeah,
wormholes, and I think
in
since
my
then it's been a
opinion,
staple.
yeah, it just makes it less interesting personally. If every single game you can get every single legendary, can't you even get like Zacian and Zamazenta now, or did they not show those?
Wait, Zacian and Zamazenta. I'm trying to remember which ones those were.
Sword and Shield.
Oh, I
Did
don't
they
know.
show
I
them
mean, they didn't show those Pokemon when they did their flash of all the legendaries, so who knows? But they might handle those a little differently because considering how Sword and Shield is still on the
on
same,
Switch?
yeah, it's still on Switch, so they
Yeah, but
might say, eh.
X and Y legendaries they put in Sun and Moon. So who fucking knows?
Oh, hopefully they do because, well, if they do that, that would be kind of nice just to have
I would
duplicates and
love,
stuff.
yeah, I would love a reason not to play Sword and Shield.
Yeah, but yeah.
I'm looking at this. You got Reshiram, Zekrom, Kyurem. Like you do have a lot of cool. You have a lot of cool ones. Obviously, they all look good. Yeah, they didn't show any more past Gen 7. So maybe Gen 8 they're holding off on until oh god, if the Switch 2 comes out, I'm scared of what a Pokemon game is going to look like on that.
Well, looking at the timeline right now, what are we in? 2023, back to be 2024. Let's just say 2024. Ideally, the next game, assuming that the pattern stays the same, which has been for several years, The next one wouldn't drop out until 2025. So the Switch or the Switch 2, let's just call it that, will be on the market for almost a year if they drop it out around this holiday by the time the Pokemon games come out. So,
Oh, Zard,
yeah, it'll be a little
I
weird.
was I was looking at the trailer. They showed the legendaries from the Sword and Shield DLC, but they haven't showed Zacian and Zamazenta.
Oh wait, hold on. Did they show ones like Regieleki and Reggie Draco? I can't
Well,
remember
no,
if that was in there.
they showed. Well, yeah, well, no, they didn't show those, but they showed the two horses, and they also showed Cub Fu. So
Oh, okay. So it probably
it's
would
kind
be
of
up
just
in there.
expect. I'm willing to expect it.
Yeah, they need to quit tripping because I think for my living decks, I still need the what is it? The violet mascot legendary. I still need that because I don't have my own copy of that. And I feel like there's one other thing I'm missing. But yeah, there's like a couple legendaries I'm missing like that from my living decks to kind of complete it though. So hopefully they do an event sometime soon. Oh, they are giving out was it a free Dark Ride via mystery gift right now and a shiny Lucario. So if y'all want to
I'll
pick
probably
that up,
pick those up.
you can get those. I need to get
Well,
those.
the Darkrai is nice, but the good thing about Darkrai is that ever since Legends Arceus, you now have a way to get him in a game without, like it's not going
Oh,
to be
without an
taken out. You know
actual,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
No
that's
event
nice.
needed, no mystery gift. He can just you can just get him in a game. It is nice.
I think technically the only other way, if you were to take out Legends Arceus and you were like, which other way could you got that Pokemon without connected to the internet and whatnot. And I think you have to go all the way back to Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum with the Ranger games because Shadow of Almia will actually allow you to transfer that Darkrai from that game into your Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. That was the only other way to get Darkrai without an actual event. So that was shoot, that was eons ago. I think you could do the same thing with Arceus. I think can't remember, but man, oh shoot, Shadows on Me. That was a good game. Oh shoot, great game. Like, yeah, that's basically what I've been playing. What have you been playing, Steven?
A lot of Fortnite.
Shoot, every time I look on
Played some of
Discord,
the
that's
new
all you're playing.
Splatoon. Well, I've been having fun with the new season, and it basically is like I've been trying out all those new games because you gotta remember Fortnite. Well, basically in their new Big Bang event they did, they do their live events. In between new seasons, they teased the three new game modes coming to the game, and they're like full-on games. Is the interesting thing. They're just full-on actual games inside of Fortnite. So you have a racing game, which is made by the Rocket League team, so it's very similar. It's fun. You have Fortnite Festival, which is made by the Rock Band developers, and it's got like a lot of modern songs. You got Party Rock Anthem in there, Gangnam Style, Bad
Wait, Gangnam Style,
Romance.
bro.
You got stuff from The Weeknd. He's like the main focus of this first season. Because that like
Hmm,
they have their own like passes. They're basically trying to expand Fortnite into a platform, which might go well, might not go well. All I know is that the games are fun, and that's the most important thing at the end of the day.
hmm.
Is that they gave a really fun experience, and I've been having fun with it. And obviously you have to upgrade your battle pass in these games, and at least for the battle pass, it's really the battle pass is a what is the word I'm trying to look for? Um. Oh, okay. So the word I was trying to find was the battle pass has gotten so much easier to level up ever since because now you have all these other modes that also give you XP for it. You can level up in Lego Fortnite, which isn't the other one. Lego Fortnite, the racing mode, and the festival mode. They can all go towards your battle pass.
Okay.
And it just gives more of a motive to play the game more. Like I don't, I would get on the game, do my daily challenges, and get off. But now, if I want, oh, I could do this other mode and do some challenges, hop on, do some songs. Like it's interesting, and it's all free. Like they have cosmetics and all that, but they gave all this new content out basically for free to try.
Yeah,
And
leave it.
you don't really see games that with that much influence doing that.
Yeah, leave it up to Fortnite to create a whole nother almost game experience within its actual game. Yeah, like what you said, not too many people do that.
Yeah, it basically is a whole nother game. The Lego Fortnite is basically just a Minecraft like mode where you got sandbox, you got survival, and you explore and like craft and all that. Like it's base. I'd say that the three game modes they added basically add up to the experience of adding a whole nother game. And
Hmm.
they're all gonna get seasonal content and updates and all that. So it really is just a whole new era for the game. And yeah, that's basically the only game I played for the last couple days. I am buying a Meta Quest tomorrow. I have it in the mail already.
Oh, you're actually getting a VR. Yeah.
Yeah, because guess
Huh.
what, Zard? The new fucking FNAF game comes out and I need to play it.
How much did it cost you? Was it like 300 or something? 400?
250. It's on sale for $50. But like there's a new FNAF game coming out and I also wanted to try Resident Evil in VR so I can kill
Okay.
two birds with one stone.
Wait,
And
when
it's
does that game come out?
a FNAF game
Yeah.
in about 3 days.
Oh, okay. All right. So next time I have you on the show, I want to hear what your thoughts on the MetaQuest are, because I don't have any VR kits myself. I remember messing around with it. I think it was a Meta Quest. With like what is it, Beat Saber and stuff like that, like in the mall somewhere when I was traveling one time or whatnot though. But that's like the only little bit of VR experience I had. Well, outside of like jury rigging up the VR sets that you had in what was it, Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey, thanks to the Labo stuff. So I had like a little
Yeah.
plastic laying around, and I kind of very rigged up something right there though. But outside of that, no, I don't have too much experience. So I'll be curious to see what you think about that, and then what
I
other games you
am
might
not
get
yeah,
beyond FNAF.
I'm not necessarily used to it myself, but I'm excited to try it.
At least you don't have to worry about extra cords, being hooked up to you, kind of like how I guess what the PlayStation VRs would be, because you
Yeah,
have to have that with a console.
I was considering getting PSVR and I told myself, "No, that is $550. That is 300 more dollars for something that I can probably use less."
I mean, because the only things that would make me want to get that would have been, well, maybe the Gran Turismo experience would have been good. That would have been the first part experience, and maybe call it, Horizon Call of the Mountain. But I mean, outside of those two, I think really much more first party wise. Everything else third party wise, like all the stuff you've been seeing with like Resident Evil and stuff, like that's on, probably on MetaQuest as well. So I'm like, well, shoot, you just get whatever's cheaper and more convenient.
Yeah.
Whew, alrighty. Well, I think that about does it in terms of all the topics for tonight for my ZardCast episode 67. So a lot of stuff between the Grand Theft Auto, the theme park stuff with the Donkey Kong section, and all that good juicy stuff with the Game Awards and stuff. So this is probably the last heavy emphasis in terms of a new
Oh
segment
wait,
for the podcast. Oh, what were you about to say?
I got one more thing that I just thought you might be a little interested in. Did you see that the design for the cut character from Mario Tennis, Wa Peach, was revealed by the
Oh,
designer?
that was I didn't have it as a topic, but yeah, that was funny.
I
Seeing
I
that.
think I just think the concept of like this little bratty this like spoiled kid bossing around Wario and Waluigi like minions would have been an amazing concept to see in like Mario. It was supposed to be for Mario Power Tennis because she had like a whole 3D model planned that looks like all the other ones in that game.
Huh. No, yeah, that would have been cool, and you would have had like what, three princesses at that point between Peach Daisy and Wa Peach.
Yeah, and then you would well that probably wouldn't have been her name, but like then you got Rosalina, and yeah, it would have been interesting, really.
Yeah, it would have been interesting. I mean, who
It was
knows how many other secrets Nintendo's holding now? Like,
eh,
you saw
yeah,
you
just
saw
a
the
lot of
reaction
stuff this week.
between what was it, Bowsette and stuff. So we didn't get another situation like
Well, you
that. I was
got
waiting for
that.
somebody to do something weird, but eh,
Yeah, like you never know when this design might come back. Cause remember, Nintendo had like a design for Mario's dad in their vault that they've been holding on to for a while, and then that
yeah,
came out
that's
with the
true.
movie. So who knows? Maybe in some future game they'll be like, okay, design's already been leaked onto the internet. Let's make Wapeach,
Hmm.
and that'd be great because just any the design's really nice. Like it's a striking. It's different. It's got like the weird like oversized boots and like the kind of like Rosalina like hair.
Mhm.
It'd be cool to see that character in like a spin-off game.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Yeah.
But yeah, besides, there was actually a decent amount of gaming news. My week wasn't really relatively that interesting. Playing Fortnite and going to work and watched Game Awards, but that's about it.
Yeah, so yeah, so I think we about hit that point. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. So thank y'all all for tuning in and watching all my podcast episodes throughout the year. While this is technically going to be the last time I do a podcast live here on the channel, though, I'll be live again at the start at some point after the new year for 2024, though. But don't forget, I'll have that holiday special coming out a handful of days, probably around the 20th, a handful of days before Christmas, and just have a fun, just chill, relax podcast. But that'll be my episode 68, so that'll be that holiday special right there, though. But that's gonna basically do it in terms of this podcast episode right here. So, Steven, let the fine people know where they can find you at.
You can find me on Twitter at Steven Jr. 1231.
Alrighty. And then just a reminder to everybody, whether you're watching this live here on YouTube, make sure to go and hit that like button, go and hit that subscribe button and that bell. That way you never miss anytime I happen to go live here on the channel for a podcast episode or, any other videos I happen to be throwing up. I got a lot of things cooking in the kitchen, some new things I have planned out in terms of certain other videos I might have, planned and cooking and stuff for the year 2024, but all will be revealed shortly within that first couple of weeks within the start of the new year and stuff. So if you happen to also be listening to this audio version on one of my podcast servers, make sure to hit the like button and then go ahead and share this podcast around. We're just a couple of guys that's talking about gaming stuff, just kind of whatever we please to talk about though. But really appreciate all the support y'all showed it off this year. I'm looking at my subscriber count right now. I'm at 490 as of this moment right now. Just need 10 more. There's not a lot of things I ask for Christmas, but if I can get 10 more subs from like somebody, y'all's friends, associates, family, mama, sister, brother, whoever though, if I can get 10 more subs, just 10, I'll be a happy camper ending the year off at 500 subs. I didn't think I would manage to get that close, but hey, you know what? I'm in arm's reach. What is it? We got like 21 days left of this year. So we'll see if I can manage to hit that quota. But if not, I'm okay. I'll hit it sometime early next year, though. But that's going to basically do it in terms of my ZardCast episode 67. So until whatever video I make next, until my ZardCast episode 68 for that holiday special, I'll see y'all later.